Get ready to rumble! Oh yes, welcome back this Saturday. It is Racing Post Live. I am one seriously psyched up Dave Orton. As you might be able to tell, it's on like Donkey Kong, isn't it? Think of the great sporting clashes. 3:35, we go to the Clarence House. Shishkin versus Energumene. Everyone thought they were going to shirk this and wait for the champion chase. It didn't happen in the Arkle last year. The sporting matchup of the equine world is happening at Ascot. 3:35. Stop, drop, whatever you're doing. You cannot miss it. As you can hear, it's already perilous here in the studio. We are buzzing for it with our sponsors. Betfair along the way. Sportsbook, Exchange. Ryan McCue is with us in Dublin. We will get to Ryan shortly. But representing all the dreamers out there in the yellow corner, it is the big bear himself. Graeme Rodway comes back representing Shishkin this afternoon.
Yeah, I can't wait for it, Dave. What a race we're going to have. I woke up this morning, it was like all those great old jumps days. I remember like Deep Sensation, Viking, Flagship, Travado. They used to get it on every single week, where Tringle Creeks and all the big 2 mile. This is the first one that we've got all season, and it's a proper race, isn't it?
So serious are you taking it that you've gone goggles?
Yeah.
You are like, you're not going to miss a thing.
Doing go look more studious like this, I think that people might take me more seriously. What do you think?
Well, we'll get into these. Usually wear contact lenses, don't you? But we haven't got time for that. But you've got these transitional glasses. If I shone a torch in your glasses now, they turn into shades, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You came in like you had a stick with you when you were walking in. We weren't sure you were going to find the studio or not.
But I think that's cool, isn't it?
Well, look, I'm not going to go there. Let's let our viewers decide. This is an interactive show, of course. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Facebook Live, ramp up that chat for us. And anything you want to get involved in on Twitter, Jack Reeve, I'm disgusted to say, is doing our social media this afternoon. Why? Because he's a Norwich fan. I'm a Watford fan. Has anyone been seeing the football world out there? This is usually a haven for me, this studio. I've got 2 little kids, honestly, I've got a wife and everything. This is usually my place to relax, and I'm being trolled from afar. He's going to clip up everything. Hashtag RPL Live. Get involved, let us know. Now, we've got the assistant betting editor here, the G-Rod, the bear. He's with us. We thought we'd roll out the carpet because, only for the second time, I believe, Keith Melrose, the betting editor himself, Quizmaster, is back in the blue corner.
I am, yeah. I consider myself surprised that they're actually turning up, and I'm glad to be wrong on this one, because they're all the people you wouldn't expect to turn up in this race. You know, it's Mullins, it's Henderson, the Donnellys, Tony Bloom. Everybody involved they're the people that duck fights, and they've turned up, and it's going to be brilliant. I'm still, because I'm a miserable so I'm not going to believe it until I see them circling at the start, but it's going to be such a brilliant race. And not only are they 2 such brilliant horses, but it's the styles that they have are so contrasting. And Energumene's going to blast off. Shishkin's going to have to stalk him. How's it going to play? It's tactically fascinating. They're horses we don't actually know that much about. Neither of them's run in an open Grade 1 before. That's the thing to remember here.
Very interesting. 2 novices, of course, both.
Yeah,
both unbeaten. Bubbles will burst. Something's going to give, isn't it? We've got First Flow, of course, last year's winner in there, and a horse called Amula Gold, who's an Ascot specialist in handicap company. So the 4 runners go. But tactically, we think this is just a race. We're not worried about anything, are we? It's going to be properly run, surely.
Surely will be, and it's if Paul Townend chooses to get a bit funny, I think he'll get beat anyway. But
On an Energumene, of course.
On an Energumene. Yeah. But it's what David Baston counters with on First Flow is going to be really fascinating. I mean, what we saw in the Hilly Way, Energumene's last run at Cork, Notebook tried to do that to him, and he just swatted Notebook away like he wasn't there.
A very good horse in Ireland, yeah.
A very good horse in Ireland, Notebook. Yeah. First Flow's form would probably be about as good as, if not better than Notebook's, but I don't think First Flow would be as fast. Notebook would lose his mind in a Peterborough, which First Flow won obviously last month. So it's just the way it could all pan out. And the thing is, even though we know so little about these horses, we can see at every stage how what's panning out in front of us might be affecting what's happening at the finish.
So listen, we're going to get into the mechanics of this. They genuinely are napping against each other. You can see how it works in that department. The 2 great heads going literally head to head for you this afternoon. Now, let's cross over the Irish Sea, shall we? Ryan McCue representing Betfair. Now, Ryan, there is an English-Irish thing going on again here, but you are in the yellow corner.
Yeah, I like Shishkin in this. It's a really fascinating race the lads touched on. I think First Flow is an interesting run on the race, given David Bass could end up pressurising Paul Townend for the lead. That would suit Nico de Boinville on Shishkin. I just think Shishkin has the better turn of foot laid on in the race. That might be crucial here. It'd be interesting to see how it pans out. Paul Townend might try and slow them down, maybe down the back straight, and then quicken before the turn in. But I think Nico de Boinville will be wise to the move. And I just think in that last couple of fences, I think Shishkin will have the better turn of foot than Energumene. And there's been a few interesting bets during the week for an Ergmean for the Ryanair Chase. I know we don't want to be talking about Cheltenham with the race we have today, but some people are obviously thinking that Shishkin might beat an Ergmean with a little bit of ease, and then he might pitch up in the Ryanair. I can't really see that happening myself, but it's just another angle that plays into today's race. But whatever happens, I hope we get the rematch in the Champion Chase at Cheltenham. I hope there's not too much between them today. I'd like to see a close race. I think everyone would, just to give us something to look forward to again at the Champion Chase in March. But for me, it's Shishkin. I think the turn of foot he has at the end of the race will be telling. But whatever happens, I can't wait for the race.
It is a bit like Denman versus Corto, isn't it? Two stablemates, Paul Nicholls, the tank, and the gliding Nureyev, if you like, of Corto's start is Shishkin. Look, we're going to find out. That's 3:35. That's our final race. We have 8 for you though this afternoon here on RP Live. Thrilled to be back. Where else would you want to be? Get your best sporting clashes in. This is Arlie Fraser, isn't it? But the undercard is sumptuous. And here we go, the Rossington Main, 125. Cheltenham Festival winners have come out of this race. Will John Bon beat another? Of course, we had the Tolworth a couple of weeks ago at Sandown. His stablemate Constitution Hill, absolute demolition job again in that. Usurped John Bon at the head of the Supreme Market. The opening race of the Cheltenham Festival, March the 15th, isn't it? The countdown is well and truly on. In fact, I was looking at the racing calendar in the week, and up until the first weekend of March, it is literally buckle up. Here we go. We're going to be covering everything for you here on Racing Post Live. As I say, get involved. Let's get the social interaction up. Who wins the Clarence House? Is John Bon one to take on? We will be finding out. Ryan, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. You'll, of course, be showcasing the functionality of the exchange, but you've also got a lucky 15 for us on the sportsbook.
Yeah, we'll start off with a £1 each way, lucky 15. Dave, if one of the lads can do the honours, please. We're going to start of 3 at Ascot and 1 at Haydock. So we'll start with the 145 at Ascot. We're paying 4 places on the Betfair Sportsbook. And I'm going to put in Paul Nicholls' runner, Sonagino. He's stepping up in trip. He was a winner on heavy ground over 2 mile in France. So I think the trip will be no issue. He's a decent each way price. So Sonagino is the first selection in the 145. And then across at the 220 at Ascot, Western Victory is my next selection. A mare that's having her first start for Emma Lavelle. I think it's quite a good buy for 80,000, considering there's 36,000 to the winner today, and she's favourite to win that contest. That's also at Ascot in the 220, please, Keith.
I've got Sorrentino, and I've got, what's your 220 bet? Sorry,
Western Victory.
Western Victory. And
then stick it at Ascot to make it a little bit easier. Phoenix Way in the 255. I think the step back and trip will really suit him. I think he's fairly solid for the places. And then across at Haydock in the Peter Marsh Chase in the 235. I'm going to go with Empire Steel, another one that I think is fairly solid in the places, at around 7-2 for Sandy Thompson and Brian Hughes. So £1 each way, look 15, please, to kick us off. And hopefully we can get a bit of look in that.
4 fours, 12s. There we are. And a £1 each way. Lucky 15, £30 staked.
And there you go. If you just need reminding, there you are. It is down in the corner. Ryan McCue's selections then. So listen, safe gambling here. The MO, of course, of the Racing Post. Down to play in every single race. Loads of sport out there, of course, if you just want small stakes, a little bit of interest. I wondered whether he was going to go for the biggie, but no, we'll leave that out of the way. It's a difficult race to have a bet in, but perhaps Ryan will be steering us the way to do it. Shall we talk about the big race? Well, we've got time. We'll go to John Bon in a minute. Okay, coming in, the emails are flying in with the selections from our panel this morning. And you got yours in first. And you put Shishkin Nap at the bottom. Now,
I was writing my email. There's no collaboration, there's no collusion here. I
think you're getting a sense of the personalities that we're dealing with here. Because you napped first. And the betting editor, he saw it, didn't he? You thought it was his person. He was like, I'm going to nap.
He was thinking he's going to rain on my parade.
Lots of people have tried to do so in the past, G.
Yeah, not many come up on the right side, do
they? They don't indeed. They don't. Somehow you emerge unscathed, young man.
No, I mean, it's not really a race, is it? I mean, Shishkin's just in a different class to Energumene. He's going to go and prove it, isn't he?
Do you think his form has got a lot more substance then? Or is it just the fact that at Kempton last time, he looked in a little bit of bother and then that turbo kicked in, didn't it?
Well, you see, I think that the performance last time's been underrated a little bit. See, I see Mason's gone for one. See, if Melrose and I had been having one of our handicapping chats in the
fly on the wall, this is, guys. Fly on the wall.
And we were saying, how are we going to rate this Shishkin performance? Now, I would have said I'm going to rate Green Team up to his Tingle Creek win. You see,
my God!
I'd have gone in at 169 for Green Team, which then gives you, I think, 178, 179 Shishkin, and let's not forget, that was first time out with Nicky Henderson just before the race going, I'm not really sure we should be running here. I'm not really sure he's that.
Remember the last time he did that, he won the Supreme Novices. That's what he's like with this horse.
And since then, Henderson said yesterday he's lost 15 kilos. He's back down to his same racing weight. So he was actually fat for that run.
So what you're saying is, well, this is the real Shishkin we're going to see today.
He's run like a 178, 179 RPR when he's fat. This is going to be a 180, possibly. Could he get to 190?
Okay, look. Okay, we've got Devo on the screen. Welcome along to the show. Opening up
Devo.
the social interaction. And a good thing. Is that it? And a good thing. And a good thing. Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? Look, loads of people. Listen, I don't know. Keith, let's bring you in then. So, G, just seeing the ball very, very big. What is it about Energumene that we don't know, do we? That when the clash didn't happen in the Arkle last season, there were so many people that were gutted because they knew that they thought he was going to do Shishkin, and Shishkin wasn't his A game in the Arkle either, was it?
Possibly not. I mean, I don't think that's the most relevant thing here, but we talked about the Coulter Denman comparison, but this isn't a Coulter Denman. These horses, as we said, haven't run an Open Grade 1 before, so we've got to find other things. None of them have really beaten a properly good... I mean, Grenadine, I was off his game in the Desert Orchid as far as I'm concerned, but I mean, Shishkin was still very impressive because where he looked in trouble, if you looked at the times, that was a 12.5 second furlong. So he was niggled to run extremely fast. So I wouldn't be worried about that. It's just that Energumene, the times he showed, at the Dublin Racing Festival last year, he put up a time that was more or less equivalent to what Chacun Poursois was able to do. And he did that as a novice. And then last time in the Hilly Way, Notebook, who's a nutcase really, took him on from about the fourth fence, the omitted fence down the back. And it's a right-handed track. It's a lot flatter than Ascot, but it's a right-handed track. And they went mental for a mile. And in the straight, you just saw Notebook disappearing out the telly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Out
the back of the screen.
There were two Jigginstown horses in it. You had to check on your paper which one was Notebook. Because it can't be Notebook falling out.
The one that was going Tonto is normally Notebook.
Yeah.
And he disappeared out the telly, and Energumene just kept on and won 9 lengths on the bridle. Now, again, he's not on collateral form. You wouldn't believe that form because he's beat nothing again. But he beat them by doing so much. If the crux to this race is going to be whether Paul Townend believes in Energumene as much as I do, because if he does, he'll win.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And we hear things coming out of Close Sutton, from the Mullins camp, not the best workhorse, but that's the same as Shishkin as well. Shishkin wouldn't be your Altior, wouldn't be your Sprinter Sacre at home. He, gets into his rhythm, and then once they find, look, this is.
But let's not forget, we're comparing him with Sprinter Sacre and Altior. I mean, Sprinter Sacre is 190 Racing Post rating. Shishkin's only 175 so far. We're saying that he could be £15 better.
But the comparisons between Altior and Shishkin are remarkably similar, aren't they? At this stage of their career, they've won all the same races.
Shishkin's better, isn't he?
Shishkin, I think,
he's
is better. Yeah, I think he's better than Altior.
Wouldn't be averse to thinking that at all. But Energumene will be the best 2 mile chaser Mullins has ever had.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, absolutely. Although, thanks to, of course, the great, of course, he's won it 3 times with Undersow, hasn't he? 16, 17 and 2018.
Undersow is actually quite important to this race, I think. And it might seem daft, he's not run for 2 years. He retired after finishing second to Defi Desoy in this race 2 years ago. But in the paper today, I wrote my analysis of this race. If Townend does what he did on Undersow, he is vulnerable to Shishkin.
You're suggesting he didn't go hard enough?
He didn't, of course he didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, Defi Desoy is a horse that quickens like he did. He ran my sort of hand time of the sectional from 3 out. So they ran at 108%. So that was over a second a furlong quicker than the overall race speed from 3 out. And you can't do that with Defi Desoy in the field as he was then. You're just going to get humped, and he got humped. Whereas if Townend does that again, Shishkin can really quicken. We've seen that at Kempton. He might get beat. But if Energumene goes hard, we know he can maintain that gallop to a reasonable extent because he did it at Cork. He did it at Leopardstown, which has got a stiffer finish than Cork, as far as I'm aware. So he's got to be aggressive on Energumene. If he isn't, he might get beat. But I think if he is aggressive, Shishkin has never known anything like what he's going to do.
But what role does David Bass play in this? Because David Bass is definitely going to be aggressive.
He is the potential fly in the ointment for the others, isn't he? David Bass, the rider of First Flow, who's rider of the season for me last season, when he put it up to Politolog in this race last year, fence after fence, went toe to toe, and he broke Politolog. And that is Bassy. It's just what he does.
Can First Flow break Energumene? And just leave the race for Shishkin?
You're desperately hoping he does.
I was talking to Steve Mason, the guy, the handicapper, RPR handicapper. He handicaps the chasers about this. And I was of the opinion at the time about, First Flow. It'll be interesting to see what Bass does, because Bass doesn't know the meaning of too fast. But Steve Mason says, I don't think First Flow will be able to lay up.
Well, Duff's agree with you at all. He said, look, here we go, coming in, some more interaction out there. First flow beats Energumene.
Yeah, don't even finish second, does he?
Cannot beat
Energumene doesn't even place.
No.
He cannot
in a four-runner race.
Will beat him.
I mean, I'm so excited about this. We don't really know. Some people said to me, yeah, but Energumene's form's not up with Shishkin. He's not got the Cheltenham ticks, all that sort of stuff. But Janadil, the horse that he beat in the Ryan End Novice Chase at Punchestown.
It's the only good horse he's beaten.
He thrashed him by 16 lengths. Janadil came out on his seasonal debut and finished 2 lengths off Allaho. The great Allaho, the Ryanair smash job from last season. So if you take that line, then look, we are in for a serious treat. Has Shishkin ever come up against a rival like this?
Well, the Grenadine would be the closest, and I don't think Grenadine was quite right that day.
I think Grenadine won a single creek with disappointments in it. Nume Negra and Shakan.
The ratings tell you that.
You tipped him, so you believe it.
I think that obviously Shishkin would have won the single creek if he'd turned up, but I was fairly confident Green Team would beat the rest of them, and he did.
Yeah, all right, listen, we've listened to all of this. We could go on and on and on. This is the beauty of Racing Post Live. We've got the big guns in this afternoon. It's great to have them. You get the fly on the wall. Obviously, they have these really annoying Zoom calls on like a Monday, and they get all these RPRs out. And I've been privy to sort of joining one at one point. You should see them. They're all hilarious. But this is what you're going to get this afternoon. You're going to get a steer towards all the Cheltenham Festival. And, of course, listen, it's all about the 335. But as I said, the undercard is rather tasty indeed. Ryan McCue, you've listened to all of that. Have you been changed? You're swayed in your opinion at all?
No, I'm sticking with Shishkin. It's a no-bet race for me, really, if I was getting properly involved in a race. I think the prices are about right. It's obviously very hard to know. Obviously, they're making their first appearances against each other. There's a small element of guessing in the race too, and who's going to come out on top. But I do think, as G-Rod said, I think David Bass plays a big role here, and I think that favours Shishkin in the fact that he could trouble Energumene early. David Bass is obviously going to be very aggressive on first flow, so that might be a slight negative. I think we're talking about slight positive and negatives when we're talking about this race, and I think the slight negatives add up for Energumene with me. I just think that late kick that Shishkin has, I think that could be telling late on, and David Bass riding first flow very aggressively as well is a slight negative for Energumene. But it's a no-bet race for me. I might be looking at the special markets that we have on site in the Betfair Sportsbook late on to pick out a bet, but it's a race I'll happily just watch.
But who do you think's going to win, Dave?
I'm in the yellow corner.
So Melrose is on his own here.
That's quite a nice thing, that, isn't it? It's quite nice to know. Look, come on, give Melrose some support out there. He needs it. Let's have him in. Keep your socials coming. But
I've got the socials on my side because did you see the Racing Post tweet about it yesterday? Last check, it was like one of those like.
Oh, the polls, yeah, we run. Yeah.
66 likes and 25 retweets.
That's right. There we are.
It's pretty lopsided. I wasn't expecting it to be that lopsided. I was expecting the market to tighten up more than it has today. I was expecting it to go off quite close in the betting.
Well, we will see how that goes, and Ryan McCue will be keeping an eye on it all the way. But we've got to go to Haydock. Look, as I said, I keep saying it. This reminds me of a great, Saturday night fight night. We're building up to the main attraction, but we've got John Bon coming out, unbeaten so far. Is he the real deal? Let's find out. Ryan McCue, a little bit bigger in the market than I thought he might be.
Yeah, he was matched at a low of 1.37, Dave. He's out to 1.48 now, so he's definitely uneasy in the market. And considering he was into 3.25 on the exchange after his Ascot win, he's now out to 4.8 in that Supreme market for Cheltenham. So he has been weak today and for the Supreme in March. Listen, at today's race, I don't think there's too much in here that'll throw him. I'm not a big fan of the horse, like so many other people are. I'd be avoiding him at Cheltenham. Today, I'm not sure what I was going to take him on with, so I'm going to avoid laying him today, and I'm going to go with Richmond Lake in the bet without market. I think he's very solid in that market at around 3-1 or 7-2 he is now in the exchange. So if you can have £40, please, Keith, on Richmond Lake without. He didn't show much in Ireland for Eugene O'Sullivan in point-to-points and in a bumper run. But since he switched to Donald McCain, he's looked a really promising novice. He done things a little bit wrong at Aintree. He hung a little bit left and got beat. He finished third. He wasn't beaten too far, in fairness. The form hasn't really had to work out because the two horses that finished in front of him that day haven't ran since. But the last day, he won an egg and spoon race in Sedgefield. But I just like his attitude. Donald McCain's horses couldn't be in any better form. He's really gone well. Even the horses that aren't winning are running really well. And I think at 7-2, that's a fair price without. But John Bond definitely weak in the market. And I can see why, to be honest. I was close to put him up as a lay in the race. But he's out to 1.48 now and drifting as we speak.
Leave that to the man in the yellow corner, because you are up for it today, aren't you? I can sense you had a couple of these off and you come back in swinging, really. This is the lay of the day, is it?
Yeah, I don't fancy backing John Bon at 4-9. I mean, it's a great lay, isn't it? It's a great lay. You can get...
Build the case, come on. I mean, this is unbeaten. This is a brother to Duval. It cost $1 million. It jumps like a
He ain't done
anything
though, has he?
he plays it. Look, he's been running egg and spoon races.
I mean,
hasn't he?
the last couple of times he's just gone round like a hat canter for 14 furlongs and then sprinted up the last 2 and won from the front. So he had tactical advantage.
One of the most surprising anti-post reactions to me on this show was when Barry Orr was with us and we did the Tolworth, and he said, we were like, okay, what price does Constitution go? He's kind of done what he did when he beat Mai Tai, a very important horse in this race. We'll get to that. And he said, no, he's gone 9 to 4 fav for the Supreme. I couldn't believe that he'd usurped John Bon. John Bon, I think, is the one at home that they mightily well believe in him. Keith, he's won egg and spoon races because nothing's going to be partial starts. We're going to see him do a time figure here. Aidan Coleman has had to get on with him. He's been told not to lead. They did very famously now, they did a work stay, didn't they, at Newbury? You know, the cameras went down and he was sweaty, he was keen, and everyone's like, ooh, what's this? It's not John Bon, is it? And of course, he's learning the better he gets. The way he jumps, he really impressed me in the Kennel Gate.
He jumps extremely well, and he's just got a stride that devours the ground. He's such an impressive horse.
This isn't LA, is it?
No.
No, yeah. I think it's the glasses.
I don't see what in this race beats. I mean, my tip in this race, I almost want to cancel it because I thought in this race what was behind John Bon was so weak, and Picard had shown enough that if today was a day he'd got fit, he would maybe finish second.
That is out of the box.
Nah, he's not going to. He's not going to even finish second now. He's not going to be fit, and he's going to be getting handicapped now. I would imagine is the thing, the way the market's gone. But had he been here and fully wound up, I thought he had as good a chance as any of finishing second.
Okay, so you're, in the without market, you'd be looking, yeah?
I might have a daft little bit because it's that big a price and it might just fall into his lap. But what I'm looking out for with Picard now is how he shapes today, because I think there's a spring handicap that the Skelton's already circled in his diary, and that'll be the race for him, will be the most likely scenario. The way the market's gone, it suggests that he's not quite there. But the reason John Bon can't be away from me, because I was going to have that bet, is because look at those races you've got at Richmond Lake, the races he was winning, the races that Lebowski and Donny Boy were winning. Picard would have won those easy. The sort of promise he'd shown in finishing second to Nappers Hill at Chepstow, and the way he was going to run in that race at Cheltenham before he fell at the last, I just thought there was the form of those races is basically filth. The
interesting thing about that is that Mai Tai would be a lot of people, and according to the market suggests it, a lot of people's right without the fav, or maybe even if he comes, was he at his best at Sandown? We don't know. But Mai Tai's a very important horse here, isn't he? Because it gives us the line of form theoretically about Constitution and John Bon. And if all goes well for John Bon today, they will be lining up. He could be the key to the form that we're going to be looking for in this preview. I mean,
the Sandown ground and that hurdles track, they really do get spread out on that hurdles track at Sandown. So, is it a reliable form line that I'd be citing? I'm not so sure.
Harry Fry's had one runner in this race. It was Neon Wolf that got nutted. The late Neon Wolf that got nutted in the Ballymore.
Brilliant horse that. It was a
Cinders
horse.
and Ashes won, of course, in 2012. Went on to win the Supreme. Donald McCain, of course, who's got Richmond Lake in this, who Ryan has put up without, won the first at Haydock, the Grade 2 with Manila Drama, won it easily. It's a lot been said about Donald's resurgence, hasn't there?
He has. He's really back flying this year, and it's helped because the
young, promising horses.
You're not hearing much about the jockey's title this year because Brian Hughes has it won, partly because of the form Donald McCain's been showing.
Yeah, you are.
Barring injury, Brian Hughes has got it.
And it's a good renaissance to see, isn't it? You know, he was the king of the north. He looks like he's getting back to that.
You see, the thing is, right, if you take Constitution Hill out of that Sandown race, say he had been a non-runner, then Mai Tai would have won it mightily easily from a horse that I backed in that race, Paul Nichols's, who had a good standard of form going in. I think Mai Tai is a really good horse, and I think Constitution Hill is an absolute monster, and I think we're going to see it today.
You think Constitution Hill is a lot better than
Constitution Hill will win the Supreme. It is a monster.
Okay, well, the sportsbook would agree with you. Ryan, they're lining up. We've spoken. What is he doing now in the market, the mighty John Bon?
Yeah, 149 now. He's 148 when we last talked, just out to 150. So he's still slightly uneasy in the market. As you mentioned, Donald McCain had the first winner of the card. Richmond Lake is strong enough. He's into 13.5. Donny Boy similar. No love for the outsider, or for Lebowski, Nelson, or Picard, the big outsider of the field at 230. That'd be a big price winner if he could win. But John Bon is weak, it has to be said, out to 1.5. And he's dropping in around second or third, but looks things at the moment. That's
exactly where they want to ride him. Okay, so look, let's hope that something's going to go on. Brian Hughes, please take the mantle. Good luck then. First of 8 races, building up to the 335. But we're off. This is the Rossington Main, all about the Cheltenham Trials at the moment. We've got Cheltenham Trials Day next Saturday as well. Dublin Racing Festival. What a time to be on planet Earth it is. And Richmond Lake does take the running. So John Bond, he gets the lead today. Again, a little bit of sweat under his saddle, isn't there? He's in about 4th position.
Wasn't
Skipped
Duvan
over
like
that?
Duvan was like that, wasn't he? He got a bit sweaty sometimes, so I'm not terribly worried.
Family trait.
Possibly.
Yeah.
He's a little bit free, is he?
He's going to be. I mean, the
What
Richmond
isn't
Lake-
He
pulling
wants
there?
to lead.
What isn't pulling there?
Why
You're
are they-
picking already.
Why are they not leading?
Because they've led in the last 2 races. This is a horse
they're
that
trying
wants
to
to
teach
lead.
him something.
Well, of course, they never wanted to lead in either of those races that he's running so far. They took the lead in the bumper. You saw what the chassis was then.
The way he strides, he should lead in the Supreme, you know. He's so fast.
Duvan led most of the way, did he not?
Was it? Are you thinking of Champagne
Classical
Fever?
Dream, Champagne Fever. There are loads of winners from the front in the Supreme. Appreciate it pretty much, wasn't he? You know, he kind of got on with it, didn't he? So,
Small field Supreme that year, wasn't it?
well, there we are. We look like we've got a classic Supreme if they all turn up. So, interesting horse in second here, guys. Of course,
Donny Boy.
unbeaten. Yeah.
Yeah,
What do we
it's-
make of him so far?
Well, he's Nick Alexander's got a few good and promising young horses these days, and Donny Boy would be one of them. There's another one that I'd say is probably even more promising, but I forget that one's name. This one is, it's, like I say, it's been one of these small races in the north. The form doesn't really amount to much, but it's like a lot of these horses. He was won a point before he came Alexander, and he's a sort of horse that's going to keep developing after this season. So any sort of black type this year is a massive positive for the future.
I think that Conor O'Farrell was on in Arsenal said the best horse I've ever sat on. This is a horse that came, you know, this is right.
that so?
Yeah, that's right. And he was at the pipes, you know, in the heyday there as well. So very interesting to see how he gets on. John Bald pulled out wide. Now, unlike My Tai G, who after about 4 hurdles is just ambling along on the inside.
He's going up the inner Mai Tai. John Bond's almost doing too much, I think, on the outside there.
Doesn't have jump well though, doesn't he?
He does jump
Beautiful
well.
jumper. Yeah.
But it's taken him to the front, hasn't it? Now he's almost up tied to lead a Donny Boy, and he's absolutely flown that
Just
one.
do it, Eden. Just ride a race.
Is that not just a sign of an extremely good horse? Unlike, I mean, My Tai doesn't look great, Ryan. What price has he gone the second fab? Right out.
Yeah, 12 now, my guy. Big drifter in running. John Bond, they're happy with him in running. He's into 1.38. I just thought myself, if they wanted to teach him something, would they not be better off dropping him in behind horses as opposed to riding him out wide? He may as well be in front, I think, the way he is.
Absolutely.
He's 1.35 now. There's not much travelling better than him. There's nothing travelling better than him. My guy is dropping back a little bit on the rail, so he's shortening all the time.
As this card goes on, we'll talk about the unseasonable weather, of course, that we're having in January. It is dry. The ground is not usually this quick at Haydock on Rossington Main Day.
Usually a bog, isn't it?
It's a lovely surface
Picar's
there.
travelling
He's
really
in
well.
trouble,
and has gone
John Bond.
really
He's
wide.
just pushing him now.
He's not in trouble,
He's in
man.
trouble.
What's
Look,
the
he's coming
market
under it.
saying? 1.6 he's
Well, he's
got.
running 20
Right, we're
yards
going
further
around
than
that
the rest
famous
of them.
home bend then. Okay, Richmond Lake it is for Ryan McCue in the without market. Still the one to
Come on,
catch.
John Bond,
Now
what
the
have you got?
chassis coming in. What's John Bond got? Could this be an upset, or are we going to see the real deal? We're about to find out. My Tai not played his hand yet. Keith Melrose, 3 outs.
Yes, it's 3 out here, and John Bond's not been asked
flown
it.
it.
Oh, he's
Oh,
flown
what
that.
a
he's
jump.
flown
You have to go
it.
up
He was
inside.
too good
Here
then.
we go.
You have to go up
Okay, the
inside
sprint
Donny
is
Boy.
on.
What you got?
Richmond late to go. It looks like Donny Boy's had enough. My Tai, the keen horse here. I'll tell you what, if you're on Constitution Hill, you're loving what you're seeing here. 2 out it is. Okay, it's Richmond Lake at the
Making
moment.
hard
I'll tell
work
you what,
of
he's
this.
hanging a
Oh,
bit,
what's
John
his-
Bond.
what's
This
his
is not
head
what we
going?
want to
What's his-
see.
He's throwing his head about there.
He's having to think about it, isn't he? Look, this is the turbo. Come on in, Aidan, get into him.
Oh,
This
bad
is what we want to
mistake by
see.
My Tai.
Yeah, he's too good. Come on, John Bond. This is what we
Follow
like to
the
see. My
gusto.
Tai not good. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. The wings are out. There was a little moment. We'll see from Ryan McCue what the spike was. But the cream has risen in the first here on Racing Post Live. I told you the undercard was going to be serious. This was a sexy performance in the end from John Bond. The second looks good to me. My Tai, the keep horse in the race. We'll get a word from our top 2 panellists after Ryan McCue gives us what price he did reach.
2.8 was the in-running high for John Bond. He had his work cut out to win there, in fairness, lads. He had to get serious with him, didn't he, Aidan Coleman? He's only won a couple of lengths in the end, beating Richmond Lake, My Tai back in third. But as G-Rod said, My Tai got a lot closer to him than he did to Constitution Hill. Obviously, the ground is totally different on both occasions. But I don't think if you backed him for a Supreme, you'd be more confident than you were before the race. Yeah, he was made work hard there by horses that would have no chance in a Supreme. So he did get the job done. And what did you think of his head carriage, lads? He was a little bit high under pressure. Something maybe it's a slight thing, but for me, I'd be avoiding him come March.
No, I hated the head carriage, frankly. I mean, you say it was a sexy performance, David. Just all he did there was flash a bit of ankle, wasn't it?
Hate is a strong word, Keith Melrose, in society, never mind in horse racing. And that's
Look
harsh
at it
for me.
there, and we're watching it now.
That's
and
harsh for me. It's the first time he's had a proper race.
That's a cocked jaw, that.
But what was he when he hit the turbo at the last? And what's he done to My Tai?
As I said to you, you said sexy performance. I said he basically flashed a bit of ankle, and it's right here after the jump of us. It's just that 50 yards where He puts 3 lengths into them.
That's impressive.
That's the only bit of the race that was impressive, but he has got it.
impressive.
He has got it. He's a really, really good horse. He's a sort of horse that's going to run better in better races.
Be interesting to see sectionals in that race, wouldn't it? Do you think it turned into a bit? I mean, this is sharp track, isn't it? Of course, Haydock.
Long straight though, and if the wind's up, I don't know if the wind's up today. The headwinds can make it quite a long way home, and as you saw, there's a furlong and a half after the last flight, so there is quite a lengthy run in.
Do you feel semi-vindicated that you suggested he might be a lay there? Because everyone was expecting a Rolls-Royce sort of performance, and you got your pecker up there, didn't you, halfway through?
Yeah, I thought he was in trouble there. To be fair, I just think that the others have not really come up to scratch, and he's gone and done. He's run okay.
Are you suggesting that's not the Mai Tai that Constitution Hill faced?
I don't think that's the Mai Tai that
Because your
Constitution
blind
faced.
belief in Constitution
Do
Hill.
you know what it's like? It's like when Harry Carpenter went, "Oh, he's hurt Ali," when Henry Cooper put him down.
Absolutely.
That's what it's like.
I don't know.
That horse in second, Richmond Lake,
Yeah.
I mean, that is going to be tailed off in the Supreme if that runs, and he was hard under the pump to beat him.
He had the run of the race, didn't he?
That John Bon,
Richmond Lake
he's
did have the
the most
run of the
overrated
race.
horse in training. That is
What is?
John Bon.
Most overrated horse in training.
Yeah.
John Bon is.
I agree. I agree with you for what it's worth, G-Rod. I agree with you. We're 4-1 out from 7-2. Not too often we push horses that have won a Supreme trial, but we pushed him, and he's out to 5-1 now in the Exchange as well. So not much love after that win for John.
I'm not surprised he's drifted because the Supreme's so. It's not like he's just. He's not like he was a 2-1 shot. That's one sort of workmanlike.
But we are surprised he's drifted because this is the bookmaking fraternity.
But he's in
and
among
won
proper,
a race.
He's in among proper horses.
That is actually a huge negative, isn't it? That the bookmakers have just given him. They've just gone, I don't know, that don't win.
I mean, have they? I mean, he's 4-1. He's 4-1 for one of the hottest Supremes in years.
Look, we've got the 145 at Ascot coming up. We've got time to do this. Play cat amongst the pigeons here. Neon Wolf took that race and went to the Ballymore.
Should have won the Ballymore.
Well, a horrible memory for me there. Bless Neon Wolf. What was the horse that did him? Willoughby Court, wasn't
Willoughby
it? Both
Court,
now
yeah.
have fated, sadly.
Yeah.
But just play devil's advocate a little bit. Could one defect now?
Why would it? No, I mean, I'm told that.
Are you sure that John Bon didn't hit something of a? Did he? He didn't want the speed test there necessarily, did he?
Yeah, if you go good pace all the way through, he'd love it. That was the thing. He's got a long stride, and he doesn't want these slow, quick races.
Okay. Oh yeah, you can see. Look, there's the Anti-Pro Supreme market now. Then, so as you were, Constitution Hill, Dysart Dynamo.
Is that 6 about John Bon?
And look at the prices of Gerhardt there. That's
Yeah, I think the vibe seems to be suggesting that he's going for the Ballymore. So Gerhardt.
So Gerhardt, I thought he would be the speedier in the pack, but maybe now Kilcruit's blown out a little bit. That might be the case. Wow, the chess pieces are moving. Let us know. What did you make of that? Constitution Hill, happy days? Or John Bon? We won the battle again. The war's still to come in the Supreme. You'll be in for the first day of Racing Post Live, and you will be in for Constitution Hill Day.
Yeah, I'll be having Constitution Hill 10 times out of 10 to beat that thing.
You're going to see a royal, regal performance on Constitution Hill.
Yeah, I don't think anything will touch
Do you ever
that.
walk down Constitution Hill, drive down it? I do occasionally.
What is
Buckingham
it?
Palace, isn't it?
Is it Buckingham Palace?
Yeah.
Is
So
it?
you go down from Marble Arch to
Are you
Buckingham
sure? Can
Palace.
someone Google this?
I drive it. I drive it almost every day, man. You're not going to catch
sounds
me
like
out
you're
here.
making this up.
I'm not making it up. People will tell you there is a Constitution Hill in America, isn't there, as well? But which some people think Michael Buckley
Can
might
we
have.
ask Michael Buckley then?
We should do. I thought he was in Florida at Tolworth time, and he made the flight over. That was the one thing that I can tell you out there that is pretty cast in stone. Michael Buckley does not fancy a Ballymore runner. He wants the Supreme.
Well, he's still got some unfinished business with that race after Spirit Sun.
Yes.
Didn't realise, because when I was saying that when the Lee Watershead wrote that piece after he won the Supreme, the Tolworth about the unfulfilled hero from the Buckley colours, I thought, oh yes, it'll be Spirit Sun. There was some other horse back in the 90s he had, wasn't there, that didn't quite get to the top after threatening to.
Yes.
And but Constitution Hill, he is fav now. Possibly deserves to be, but I wouldn't be as down on John Bon as some have been as a result of that. We saw for about 5 seconds of that race what he is. I didn't like the head carriage, but in a more strongly run race, it's going to be less of an issue. He doesn't have to think about it so much.
There's a lot. I'm reading the chat boxes out there, guys. Our community, we love you out there, and a lot of regulars out there. This is obviously causing a bit of debate, isn't it? So listen, Members Club time tonight, your digital edition. It'll be fascinating to see what Nicky says after that up at Haydock. So we've got to go down to Berkshire. Just a quick one from Devo. Can we get a word on the real Supreme winner? And this is bit egg on face time for you, I'm afraid, because this doesn't win the Supreme. It's my mate Mozzie.
My Mate Mozzie. Yeah, we like My Mate Mozzie. McCue and I both like him. Yeah.
County? Are you thinking Coral
I'm
now?
not sure he's going to run though.
Right, really?
Supreme. What do you think?
I backed him in October. I thought, oh yeah, this thing might win the
I
Supreme.
can't believe you all did. He got beat. He won a race.
No,
didn't
he would have won that race last time out. I mean, he made.
You were
mistake at the
livid
last.
about that, weren't you? So
He'd
it's a
have
bet
won
of the
that
century.
easily. He'd have won that easily.
He'd still be he'd be 8-1 for an ordinary Supreme still. But unfortunately, since I backed him, John Bond's come out, Constitution Hill's come out, Dysart Dynamo's come out.
It's also emerged that he jumps a little bit to the right.
Yeah, he does a wee
which
bit.
is a slight concern for connection.
But he's a very fast flat.
Let's not forget that the horse in, was it second or third, was Mighty Potter.
Yeah, that's right.
Behind My Mate Mozzie.
You're nearly trending again, by the way,
My mate
on Twitter. I'm hearing about your
Mozzie
John Bond
beat
most
my guy.
overrated horse in training.
Oh, he's done it again, has he?
He's nearly done it again. We've yet to get to Shishkin and Ergamine, so quite what's going on, I don't know. But you're doing what you say
Lighting
on
up the
the
sky.
tin as usual. It's the glasses. I know it is. It's the glasses. Wherever Mrs. G went up there.
I can't understand how anyone could disagree with me.
Yeah. All right. Well, look. We've got loads of quotes out there. We've got 8 races coming thick and fast. We've got a bit of time in between them. We will build it up. Come on, let's hear Shishkin or Ergamine. Let's keep getting it out. What does John Bond do? Does he take a lead? Does he come there swinging in the Supreme? Or does Constitution Hill have one look at him and say, sayonara? Up the hill he goes. The sound is alive with Cheltenham all of a sudden here. So unsurprisingly, this afternoon, of course, we've got Sir Gerhard as well. Can't believe he's 9-1, says the Terminator. I'd agree with that as well. If you knew he was going Supreme, 9-1 is a bit silly, isn't it?
There's not much room for him though, is there? You know what I mean? He's 9-1 and you think, 9-1 for a Supreme, ridiculous. But it's a bit like My Mate Mozzie. 20-1 for a Supreme, that's still a good price, but it's not a normal Supreme, this.
No, it's a wonderful Supreme.
It's a wonderful. It could be one of those Spirit Sun, Q cars,
I think it is.
Alpha off ones, couldn't it?
He should have been third though, shouldn't he, in last year's champion bumper, Sir Gerhard? I mean,
Well, because Rachel stole it.
it was a silly race. Stole it from the
You think
front.
he's overrated?
Kilcroy would have beaten him. Ella Bell would have beaten him if she had been ridden closer.
It's
to
neck and neck for him and John Bond, the
what
most
price
overrated
is
horses.
LA Bear?
I struggle to see how. Most overrated horse in training though.
What, John Bond?
What is the most overrated horse in training? Come on, the question's out there. You can let us know if you like. It's not that easy to think, isn't it? What division do you go for and all that sort of thing? Some people are saying hello to me. So listen, yeah.
Hello.
Just because he couldn't, there was a terrible Ryanair saying
He's the
that he
most
won.
underrated horse in training.
You think he is?
He's very good.
All right, look, it's great, isn't it?
He's possibly the third best. He's probably the best chaser in training that's not running today.
God, I tell you what, that perked him up a bit, didn't it? Our betting editor and his assistant over there got him going. This is what we like. Right, come on, let's go to Ascot because big talking horse in this. It's 145, 2 mile 3 handicap. Ryan McCue, where are we going? Gary Claremont's got the substance at the form, but unexpected party. They whacked him at Wetherby over Christmas. He should have won, shouldn't he?
Yeah, they're coming from, again, a little bit unexpected party. He's into favouritism now on the exchange at 4.8. Gary Claremont, the top weight, is very weak out to 5.5 now, having been clear favourite this morning. But I'm going to go over to the sportsbook, Keith, if you wouldn't mind doing the honours, please. We're paying 4 place on the sportsbook. I think that's a good concession here, given the makeup of the race. And I'm going to have £20 each way on Sonagino, the bottom horse for Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden. I just think he might be a little bit overpriced at around 11-1. Around 11-1 there. I think we obviously haven't seen the best of him yet, as he's only a 5-year-old. He hasn't had too many runs. He was a winner on heavy ground at Otay over 2 miles, so I think the trip will be no issue. The 42-day break, I'm hoping, might have freshened him up a little bit, given he was fairly keen the last day, which is not ideal stepping up in trip. But as I said, he has that form on heavy ground over 2 miles. He's a really slick jumper, and I'm hoping they'll go a little bit of a better pace here, that he can ride him a little bit more at the back of the field. He was a bit more prominent at Doncaster the last day. I'd imagine that didn't suit him. So at around 11-1, I think he's worth a few quid each way, given the 4 pace concession on the sportsbook. But unexpected party is clear favourite now at 4.7 for the Scout.
All right, okay, Ryan. So
a word for this first. This is the Holloway's Hurdle, which I looked on early in the week and noticed it was a Class 2. This used to be a Grade 3. This.
Yeah, it did, and this you can see horses. What was it? The horse of Henderson's that won it last year. Craig Nash.
Craig Nish, that's right.
Craig Nish. Is that how I pronounce it?
I believe so. That's how you pronounce N-E. An E-I sounds normally an E.
Craig Nish.
Well,
did he go on to run in the Coral? This throws up a handicap near favourite, doesn't it?
It often does. Well, when it was a Grade 3 it did, but now it's lost its pattern
could go Betfair Hurdle
status.
potentially. It's coming up, of course, on the 12th of February.
Normally with this race, you're coming up from 2 miles because you're getting done for speed at 2 miles. So I wouldn't imagine you go back down for the Betfair Hurdle afterwards.
Did you back unexpected party at Wetherby?
No, but I backed him at Cheltenham.
And you fancied him at Cheltenham, didn't you? Oh, I remember that. Is the steam come out your ears?
It was a rare nap over hurdles for me that day when he ran at Cheltenham. And I watched the Weatherby race again this morning. And by Christ, he should have won that, shouldn't he?
It was ridiculous.
The thing is, a lot of
the horse
context.
that beat him actually is running at Weatherby later.
He is actually over 3 miles, isn't it?
Yeah, Drinkwater's horse.
It's Haydock. It's one of only 2
Haydock,
races for
sorry.
Sam Twisted Davies, actually, and I fancied the other one, Cat Poley. Unexpected party. That day at Weatherby, that was Charlie Hall, Roland Merrick day. And you saw how slowly they finished in the Roland Merrick. We'll talk about that race later because it's very important to the Peter Marsh. They took them a minute to run from 4 out, which is 3 furlongs. That's 20-second furlongs from 3 out in the Roland Merrick. That is slow. It was very, very testing that day. Unexpected party. Tanked all over them.
What price did he go off in that? I mean, he was
13.
whacked. It was
plainly
Boxing Day, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And they had a few multiples to Skelton surround, didn't they? Market Rays and a couple of other tracks. They went for a bit of a clever touch.
Plainly just think this horse has got a stone in hand.
8-13 on in a Class 3 handicap. I mean, wow.
And
he hasn't won it. Okay, so he's not won at Cheltenham. He's not won it. I like him. I nearly napped him.
He hasn't won it. You know, it was 2 mile 5.5 in soft ground that was probably heavy in actual fact. He's tanked all over them. He's missed the last.
Yeah.
If he'd not missed the last, he'd have won because he came back at the winner.
They've won the first at Ascot, haven't they, with an interesting-looking juvenile.
Yes,
Tritonic
they have.
race, as we call it.
Yeah, that's right.
Dr. Parnassus.
So, but he's been beaten by a stronger stayer, so he's dropping back a couple of furlongs in trip. The ground's not as testing.
Yeah.
He absolutely cruises.
It's just a
the race.
price thing for me, Keith. I've gone against him, but I'll tell you with who. This is the headline tip, yeah?
I put him up for this race. He was second favourite at the time when I sent this email this morning, but unexpected party. It's an interesting race. I mean, I would put up a nice word for the horse that Paul Keeley's tipped, Stoner's Choice.
We'll get to that, Keith.
Yeah.
Because Mally Draycott looked there. Unexpected Party, my nap of the day. Rather topical name as well, isn't it? Unexpected Party. We're not far from Downing Street either.
Oh, we're not, true enough. Yeah. Well, it wasn't that unexpected, was it?
I don't know. We had a few of them in the studio, didn't we? So I don't know.
Does a 4-pack of Brewdog Punks actually count as a pack?
but we're not really making the rules, so there we are. But Phil Duderies for me. A horse that used to be with Joseph O'Brien for the Gretsch team. Colours that you'll know well for Nicky Henderson. Nicky's first run. They're just trying to be getting their confidence back. Spoke to Jerry McGrath about this chap who rides him at home. He says they think he's well handicapped. This is also ran behind Envoy Allen over fences in Ireland. I thought it would be clever. And when he ran at the Cheltenham Festival, he came down, he lacked the experience. He could just be something. And he was 9-1 earlier.
For the benefit of the viewers at home, when Dave Orton puts one up from the Henderson yard, it's a bit of a dark horse. He's heard something, yeah? That's what tends to happen. He lives in Newbury or thereabouts, so he tends to have heard.
If I did that with you in Scotland and I said you live near Musselburgh or something like that, which I've done with you before, you've called me a swine, man.
I
live kind of near Newbury. I live in the south, if that's what you mean. I mean, I'm not far from Berkshire. Yeah.
So where are you exactly?
Massive though, Berkshire.
I'll make the decision. Where are you?
I'm in Buckinghamshire, and I'm.
Tell me the town.
It's Beaconsfield is the nearest I'm to.
Beaconsfield, right? Oh, nearest I'm to. So he's got a farm as well.
But yeah, no, look, this has been well entered above. They think it's on a good mark, but it does need to prove it can finish a race. Stella Magic, when that ran at Haydock last time on its return, you thought it was a good thing. Found one too good. Are you giving him another chance?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Stella Magic.
Thought you might be.
I'm on a very frustrating run of finishing second to Tom Siegel tipped horses.
Oh, who isn't?
Which happened again yesterday when I had a good bet on Gamble Road to win the handicap hurdle, and he ran Metier right to the line but couldn't beat him.
At Lingfield.
But this was another one. This was on the day when Tom Siegel had his 2,270 odd to 1 4-timer, Up for Parole being one of them. Yeah. Stella Magic was travelling just as well as Up for a Parole for much of the race.
Yeah.
I thought he actually had him beat over the last, and then Up for Parole just outran him.
Match fit and speedy.
Yeah, you know, let's not forget that Stella Magic hadn't run for 10 months going into that race. I think he needed the run.
Newbury?
I had a look at Beaconsfield, but not Beaconsfield.
It's Beaconsfield, man.
Beaconsfield is it's about as close. It's 40 miles. So apologies.
Indeed.
But
An apology from the quizmaster.
You do get.
It's a new year.
You do get the Henderson. You do think you get the Henderson.
Yeah. I get bits come out to me. Whether they're always right, I don't know. But I thought, well, if you'd listened to what I heard about John Bond, you'd have thought he would have won half the track. But this is going to be really exciting. My worry about Unexpected Party, yes, he probably is their county horse, isn't he? A stroke, Coral.
Possibly, yeah. And it's just whether, he's clearly a 140 horse, but he's had 2 goes off marks in the 120s and not one.
Correct. And at this price, in a better race.
It's a slight concern.
Yeah.
I don't doubt his talent, though.
Tell me about Stoner's Choice, and you were going to get a word. And this is the annoying sort of Keeley pick that will come and do you.
It is, because he He doesn't stay 3 miles, but apart from that, he's actually been dead consistent. At Musselburgh, he was off the bridle down the back, and at Musselburgh, if you're off the bridle down the back, you're dead. But he kept on and missed a couple in the straight, and he was still coming on at the end. I think he's been a very consistent horse. This might just suit him. There's only 4 flights in the last mile in hurdle races at Ascot, so he's got a lot of chances here, and he's getting ridden prominently.
And we are off and running then. Second race of 8. We're building up to the 3:35. It is the clash of the Titans, but the undercard is sumptuous, and this is one Katzen, the grey horse who's found his form again this year. He's up there. He wants a bit of it. Looking for Stoner's Choice up there as well,
Second,
Keith.
yeah, he is. Now look at what they've done on Unexpected Party. The memo today has clearly been don't get to the front too soon.
This is almost arrogant from Harry Skelton on this fab, isn't it?
I tell you what's happened. If you watch Weatherby back, you know exactly what's happened. We don't want to get to the front too soon again. That's exactly what's been thought.
He was too keen at Cheltenham as well,
This is what
wasn't
they did at Cheltenham. They did this at Cheltenham, and then Gamble Road got first run, and they couldn't get him back. Is he a hard horse to ride? Does he have to be produced on the line? Is he? What do you call them? You've got a word for these types.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, I do. You don't like it either, do you? What is it? Oh yeah, we'll come to it. I can't remember. Need everything to fall right or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't stand that,
need
can you?
Everything to fall right.
Well, he does need everything to fall right. He needs every blade of grass to go his way. And we'll find out what he gets. He's going to have to come from last to first. What's this on the outside in the Ruckers colours? Esprit de Large. God, he's fallen.
Yeah, he has a bit. He looked a really promising horse at one point, but we say that about just about all these.
He was running in
horses.
Grey Bond Novice Chases on the Esprit de Large. He was like, he was that sort of class, wasn't he? Doesn't look like something's gone wrong with Son Gino. Is it a tack or something, Ryan? You're probably looking at the 5-year-old out the back, and what's the market doing, man?
Yeah, Harry Cobden seems to be looking down as if something's amiss with San Gino. He's a big drifter and running as expected. Unexpected Party, though, is 2-1 and hardening up all the time at the front of the market. Your selection, Dave, Fido Dari, was well punted before the off. So I think Keith was good to check how far away you live from Nicky Henderson, because he was well punted. Your money was telling there. 5.7 the BSP at Fido Dari. He's into 4-1 now as he's contesting the lead with Cateson, who has the rail. Esprit de Large is up there too. I thought he'd be ridden more patiently as Esprit de Large, but my selection of Son Gino is out the back, and I can't imagine he'll get involved from there.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Well, we'll see. All to play for. If you like the fab, then I wouldn't call it out. But interesting, Nico de Boinville has allowed Fidu Dairies his head. Like I said, talented, but has had a few wind issues. We'll find out. Up there, now let's have a look for Clary Claremont. He was really strong in the market, and he brings that Betfair hurdle from Ascot the 18th to the party. There were so many Betfair hurdles, I had to work out which one it was.
That's right, yeah. Because it used to be called another bookmaker, so you can't really call it by its old name. I wish it had a proper name, like a registered name.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, don't go there with the registered names. It's a bugbear. It should be. It should be. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think.
But we're still, Unexpected Party here is still absolutely tanking. He's probably still a bit keen, actually, looking at him on the telly here. But Field of Dairy is a little bit of a keen horse as well, wasn't he, with Joseph O'Brien? And he seems to have pulled himself prominent out wide. It'll be interesting to see. I think that going wide's a deliberate thing. Nico did this last week at Kempton. With a few horses, he took them. He rides
Ascot particularly well over hurdles. I mean, he's always on decent ammo there, isn't he? Of course. But what's this catching my eye? Scandiberg. Oh, he was Charlotte Fuller's now got him a page fuller. Ollie Murphy just could not get the best of him.
Big price. Yeah.
Stella Magic G on and off.
He's not going that well. He travelled really well at Haydock, Stella Magic.
Is he a mud monkey?
Off the bridle, maybe he is a mud monkey. I don't think he's a late run-on monkey, as you like to call him.
Everything going right. Everything going right at the moment.
He's got loads of funny horses these days, Hobbs, hasn't he? He's got loads of funny horses.
And Golo as well. He's quite an interesting horse, isn't he? Joined and Duffield and Kevin Brogan on, of course. Rich Ritchie fame he used to be. Right, we're starting to warm up. What is this, about 4 hours?
This pace is picking up now.
Really nice jump from Phil Dairies, but can you do it? Here comes the grey. Unexpected Party. But we know he's going to do this.
Yeah, he's good. He's actually going up quicker than I think they want to as well. I bet if he wins this, he'll say we got there too soon.
Well, listen.
He's getting there too soon. He's almost in the lead.
Esprit du Large had enough. Stella Notion.
Magic,
not the one for him. Scandiberg, I'll tell you what, very talented horse. Now Stoner's Choice and Fidu Dairy going for each other. Nico de Boinville not panicking yet.
Is he going to get up the inside here, Skelton?
Has he possibly got enough? I don't know. Look, we're turning in then. Look at Unexpected Party. What price he gone? Oh, he's gone low. Right odds on. How's he going to lose this one then, boys? Look at Gary de Clermont.
He's going to get the outside.
Okay, Fidu Dairy still on the bridle. We're coming to 2 out. This is a proper handicap, this. Stoner's Choice, Achille in the middle. Dave Orton and Fidu Dairy on the far side. Unexpected Party. Does he like it up it? Let's find out. And Golo on the outside. Now the sprint for Home's on. Fidu Dairy. He's gone too soon. He's trying to put himself up. Come on, Fidu Dairies.
He's gone. He's clear.
He's gone. This is all over. 101. Oh, he nearly went at the last as well. I tell you what, this is a horse that needs everything to go right for him, but it has done here. Fidu Dairies has done pretty much what they thought he'd do. Bounced back really well behind an extremely well handicapped horse. Keith Melrose told you, £10 in hand if it goes right. Fair play to the Quizmaster. He's off the mark. Gary Claremont gives it a nice bit of form. And Gino
gets placed. Fourth.
Very nice, Ryan McCue. You didn't think it was going to be happening? Keep the faith, man.
What he must.
Yeah, he actually ran on well, Gino, to be forward. I think he's one to take out of the race given the early antics that was going on, and I'm not too sure what was happening there for Haydock. It looked like tack issues, as you said, Dave. But he ran on really well to finish fourth. But there's only one winner from a long way out. Unexpected party. He jumped and travelled really well. A little bit of a scare at the last, that has to be said, but he got away with it. He was nice and low at it. Fidu Dairy hit 3.1 in running. Nico de Boinville. You had to probably go hard enough to get to the front and then steadied it up down the back before quick. And he's ran a really good race and bounced back to form, having fell on his previous 2 starts. On his first start for Nicky Henderson, so I'd have been much happier with him. Gary Claremont ran into a couple of progressive horses, I'd imagine, or horses that were maybe ahead of the handicapper. He'll probably have his day again. But unexpected party, a really impressive winner there. And he never really hit a big high in running. He was travelling well from a long way out.
In the analysis department, we do something at the end of the day called eye catchers, as you well know. Gino's nearly come onto that banner. I would be surprised if he wasn't nearly it from Ascot, actually.
He's a horse that I quite like. I liked his run at Haydock.
Didn't they pay a lot of money for him?
They paid a lot of money for him. He was disappointing at Doncaster. He's run a funny race there, even though it's full of promise. He's got a lot of talent. He's definitely going to win races off that mark, but it's what he needs. He might be a horse that needs everything to go right. We talked about unexpected party. And he probably is a horse that needs everything to go right, but not when he's got a stone in hand.
No, exactly. So that pretty much what you sort of expected from... This is the unexpected party we've been waiting for. Yeah. Third time lucky this season. Where does he go now?
He'll go to Cheltenham Handicap. He'll get £8 for that.
It's got to be County, isn't it? He's got that much speed, isn't it?
I'd have thought County.
And Fidu Dairies, I want to mention for him, he was coming back at the finish. You don't do that in Ascot handicaps, do you? Let your horse stride on, and then they all come at you. And he still hadn't gone from him to 2 out, so there's a decent engine there, I think. And they've come away from the horse that Tritonic beat, of course. That's a solid form in the book. Lots to like about our race, right?
Oh, yeah, it's solid as a rock, really. Fidu Dairy's very well handicapped. Third, obviously, as we've discussed, and Gino's promising too. And he's just played with them. He's toyed with them. When do the entries for the handicaps come out for Cheltenham? Late February. It's about the 20th. Yeah. I think it's a week after the National, isn't it? The entries come out.
Yeah.
Entries and then weights about how long does it take to do them?
The entries come out 1 week. The weights come out the next week. I'm pretty sure.
Fingers on the buzzers then.
Fingers
on the buzzers for Team County Hurdle Skelton.
Well, you'll know what his mark will be on Tuesday.
Yeah, of course.
His mark's not going to change. It's the Irish horses you want to watch out for, and the novices that have never had a rating published.
This could just be totally academic, couldn't it? Of course. No Irish horses in the next at Haydock, contentious as that might be, because it is a champion hurdle trial. It's the new one, Unibet Hurdle, registered as a champion hurdle trial. A hugely popular horse in this, Tommy's Oscar. Ryan McCue going for the 4-timer. Hot pot?
Yeah, he's been very strong all day, Dave. 1.9 was the high he was matched at. He's now into 1.63. We laid plenty of them this morning on the sportsbook. So he hasn't really drifted too much from the 8 to 13 he is now on the exchange. There looks to be only one real threat in the market, if the market suggests so. With Hunter's Call, he's in there at 3 to 1, 4.0 on the exchange. My bet in the race, though, and I'm pretty sweet on this, it's not a big price, but I do think he'll collect, is Rockaden in the 3-place market. I think he should be probably odds on in this market, given what he has to beat. Garo de Jouy is a 10-year-old now. Global Citizen is first run off. A Windop is out of form. Navo Pass is out of form as well. So I'm going to have £50, please, Keith, on Rockaden in the 3-place market. He's just over 11 to 10. He's 2.14. We might have to shorten it a little bit to get matched. But I think he probably should be an odds-on chance in this market, given he's only a 6-year-old. He's in form, which I think is key to the horse he has to beat. He ran really well around Haydock last time, over a little bit further. He drops back in trip here, which would be no problem to him. And Tommy's Oscar, obviously, as the market suggests, is the one they have to beat. But I wouldn't be a backer at 1.65. And Rockaden, for me, in the 3-place market will do.
I was lucky enough to go down to Paul Nicholls for Betfair last season, and Rockaden had just beaten Pick Dory at Taunton over hurdles. Do you remember that race?
I think you can disregard anything Pick Dory did last season.
Nicholls couldn't believe it. Basically, he was because Pick Dory's now a very good chase. That's my point.
I thought he was going to be. I said at the start of last season that I thought he was going to go off single figures for the Arkle.
He's going to be a Marshall, isn't he?
He is going to be. Yeah. Well, I think they'll probably win the Pendle with him and skip Cheltenham.
And go to someone like Ayr.
Go to Aintree or Ayr.
They tried to do Ayr last time. He was over the top. All Nicholls' horses at Ayr last season, they think so over the top. But this chap is a talented lunatic. Talking about talented, and again, Jerry Maguire yesterday, we had him on one of our feature shows. He was brilliant to talk to, Joe, because he's got his fingers in a lot of horse racing pies. Let's put it that way. And Tommy Zoska, he's got a pinhooking business, right? And he was offered this chap by Colin Bowe. Didn't win. It took him 7 goes to win a point. Turns out, of course, he didn't get 3 miles standing on G-Rod's belly. And so basically, dropping back 2 miles. Revelation?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a finally. Not Swell did it a bit as well, but this Anne Hamilton yard's been bubbling under for quite a long time. I think they're permit holders, aren't they, rather than actual trainers, and best permit holders there are these days. It's Anne Hamilton, and Ian is the owner. He's the husband. I think the training is essentially a joint venture. If they started now, there would be a joint license. It's very much a husband and wife team up there. They lead the horses up themselves. I've been at the track quite a few times when they've had horses out, and
really enviable life that must be, wasn't it? You know what I mean? To just be able to do that.
Well, if I want,
play it a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know to what extent they do play at it. I don't know what they're at. They might just be farmers. I don't actually know.
They pay for a lot of their horses through the prize money. That was something that we saw at the post. It was a great feature that we did. 13-8 on though. Now, has the handicapper overreacted slightly to the Musselburgh race? I believe so.
Well, possibly. The thing, there is just enough room for doubt that form's just fishy. It's to make. I've gone for Hunter's Call just for that.
Same.
You have to go with one of those 2 horses. I think it's an absolutely terrible Grade 2 besides those 2 horses, frankly.
He was ridden by Tom Midgley claiming 7, wasn't he? Which I thought,
yes.
You know, considering we gave him 159 RPR, I was inclined to think we'll take off the 7, make
I think
it
the handicapper has been a
152.
tad harsh. I just do. There's lots of talk about
don't
him
think
in
there's
some
much
circles
between
being
him
the
and
best
Hunter's Call.
British champion above Epatante.
Well, yeah, rubbish. We're rubbish in this division, aren't we?
Well, I think we know that.
I mean, I think that the Irish think they're better than they are, generally speaking, at jumps racing. But in this division, the 2-mile hurdle division,
They're far more.
they definitely are better than us here.
The 2-mile division will give them.
Well, we can,
They can have it.
When I did
You
the
can have
numbers,
Honeysuckle can just.
when I
go
did the
the
numbers
prize.
on the division, Ireland have pound for pound loads more hurdlers in Britain. So they convert more horses off the flat, and they do. So there is just a more hurdling culture in Ireland, whereas in Britain, a lot of them are brought through hurdles just as a means to an end to get defences.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, so look, there is something in that. We could potentially get to that. Keels has got a theory on that as well. I went to the CAF with Keels yesterday.
What's his theory?
He said, do you know that they've had, apparently they've had 30 horses in British handicaps this season. Only 1 had won.
Irish horses.
It was an Irish horse, yeah.
Well,
Only
Keels
1
has
had won.
correctly identified that the BHA have come good on their promise to drop horses quicker in Britain this year. They've been dropping like a stone. We'll get on to it with the Peter Marsh in particular.
It was the Lingfield race yesterday we were talking about in the CAF yesterday morning. Keels is off the carbs. Not yesterday, he wasn't. And a lot of, the way that man can eat chips puts me to shame. But he said basically there was the Emmett Mullins horse that came over and finished 3rd to Metier Carrera, or however we're going to call it. I said, did you see that last time we finished? He goes, yeah, but Metier's been, he's got a ludicrous price, he called it. It turned out he was right. But I looked at those stats as well, and actually they're not faring so well. It was a Gordon Elliott handicap chaser at the October meeting that came good, definite. I can't remember what it was.
Oh yeah, because he beat. You backed it. Because that race you're talking about, me and G-Rod were stood beside each other. I backed the Hollow Ginge and he backed the Elliott horse.
Yeah.
You were both at the
Right,
races, weren't you? And people were not throwing tomatoes, surprisingly. They were coming up and
Give
trying
them
to...
time.
It was just that-
Give them time. Wait till they see
glasses.
Twitter later, G. They'll be fine with that. So Tommy's Oscar, everyone will be putting these in the multiples. We're hoping that we might see us that goes to the champion. Oh, what a story it would be. But Hunter's Call stopped the clock going to the last in the international last time on a stiffer track. He had them all cold.
A little, yeah, and you look at it and you go, this is a 12-year-old, he's never done that much, blah, blah. But you look at it and go, what's wrong with that run? What's wrong with that Cheltenham run? Is there anything wrong with that Cheltenham run? Look at it again. There is nothing wrong with that Cheltenham, apart from Song for Someone getting a bit too far back. And we have rated that race as
Oh,
Song
he
for
just didn't
Someone.
want to go from a yard, did
Well, we've rated him up to his best that day, and I think that's generous.
Yeah. But the time before at Banger, it's been a great training performance this by Ollie Murphy to get the 12-year-old back because he absolutely sluiced up, didn't he?
He does, and
he's a talented horse on
He's
this day.
12, but he's only had, 21 runs?
Yeah.
He's
I
not
like
had
him.
much
I
racing
think we
at
can
all
have
for
a
his
crack
age.
at Tommy's Oscar here.
That's
think
exactly
we
what I
can.
thought.
Is there
Yeah.
any chance that this thing just makes all? Never hope pass?
Well, don't talk to me about this chap because I put him up last time on Tolworth Day, thinking that I was being a bit
As did
clever.
I,
Is
yeah.
he
And Keels.
a Haydock monkey?
He could be a Haydock monkey. He beat, of course, Bouvier, who's one of 2 previous winners in the race, Global Citizen being the other.
But if you're a Haydock monkey, you're turning up today expecting to bring your armbands. And it's not like that. At
Bristol
Haydock
to Haydock, who of course is Bristol to Lingfield tomorrow. Can't wait for that. What a Sunday it is at Lingfield. Who's going? Let us know. And it's people that are doing all 3 days.
We need to swim there.
That is always going to be. But it was a great initiative, isn't it?
It's
good
great,
to see.
but why run it at Lingfield? Stupid idea.
Well, because it's always going to be because it's always going to be like the song.
Ground's awful there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday on Friday's cards, you know how Lingfield's always off, it's always waterlogged. Well, it's over 2 years since the going stick reading's been lower than it was yesterday. That's how deep the ground is there just now.
And they've just had loads of races on it.
Good old Lingfield. It's great. It's hardly ever on at this time of year, is it?
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Look, balmy January. Here we are. Racing Post Live this afternoon. Myself, Dave Orton, Graeme Rodway, Keith Quizmaster Melrose and Ryan McCue from Betfair. Having a royal time. And we've got plenty to go before the 3:35. Hour and a half away we are from the big clash of the day.
Nice.
Right.
He's going to spare your blushes by not starting.
He's not going to line up, is he? Navajo Pass.
If Tommy Oscar wins this by half the track, we're going to have to seriously consider him as a place player.
Yeah, of course we are.
Champion. We are.
No.
That's ridiculous, man.
Navajo Pass.
We're off and running. Navajo Pass hasn't got to the lead. Brian Hughes will be looking for it. First time blinkers. This has also beat Bouverdere, of course, famously in this race. But tearing off ahead was Global Citizen. Now they are going a right old lick here. Out the back is... Where's Hunter's Call? God, oh, blimey, this is like, whoa, 5 furlong pace. Navajo Pass, the Indians are coming, man. There's like Hiawatha's behind him, absolutely fabulous. And the cavalry is being charged by Global Citizen. First time wind operation for the very talented horse on his day now, a 10-year-old. They are going miles clear. At what point do the pack start saying, hang on a minute, we've got a for pleasure situation here?
Well, Navajo Pass has had to be rousted to get there. He's probably done quite a bit of work to get where he has. Danny McMenamin's done the sensible thing to get his horse at the head of the chasing pack, because it's now on him to close them down when he sees fit. You know, you see a lot of times, I'm thinking of last year's Paddy Power when Gavin Sheen was on Simply the Bets, and he should have had his eye on Cool Cody, but didn't. He was behind a horse and chose not to close up and let Cool Cody away with it. Whereas Danny McMenamin doesn't have anything else but himself to deal with here. He just judges the pace as he sees fit and closes them down. And it's his judgment against Hughes and whoever's on Global Citizen.
Aidan Coleman now what? A good 25 lengths off them? Maybe more? On Hunter's Call. He's now tracking his main market rival, Rockenden, behind him.
It's easy for Coleman. He's going to track Tommy's Oscar all the way.
But then does he come back and then blame the other guy? What's his name? McMenamin,
yeah.
If he gets it wrong.
Well, we'll find out. Let's find out what happens in the race first before envisaging defeat for the great odds-on shot. Ryan, it's crazy pandemonium scenes at Haydock in the new one trial, as we call it. What's the market saying?
Yeah, no surprise to see the front two shortened in the market. Navajo Pass into 9.4 now, having BSP at 22, so he's more than halved in price. Global Citizen in there around 17, having BSP at 26. Navajo Pass, the blinkers seem to lit him up a little bit, but his jumping is a little bit sketchy in saying that. Rockenden is challenging Hunter's Call for fourth. Hunter's Call, a slight pushed along there after that hurdle by Aidan Coleman. He's out to 7 now in the exchange. Tommy's Oscar very solid, 1.59. And I'd imagine these two will come back, given how quick they went early.
You think so, but Hunter's Call, this isn't the sort of race that he'll like. He won't have he's a bridle horse. He likes to come into it on the bridle. At some point, this is going to be chivvy. Keenan Woods, who was on Global Citizen, he keeps looking behind, going, please close up. How far ahead are we?
They are a bit now. There is, it's flattened out by this
Rockenden hates it. Garo Tajuri, the outsider's gone.
I'm not sure they have gone too fast.
Well, look, this is Navajo Pass who did this to Bouverdere, of course, but not.
They had a bit of a breather there, didn't they?
But he literally went 5 furlong pace to that first.
If they then go 2 mile pace,
I think Donald McCain has said to him, under all circumstances, lead.
It's a long way home, though, isn't it?
Here we go. We are down the long home straight. Let's see what the market's saying. Now the classy Tommy Oscar's range is up. Global Citizen, previous winner of the race, is in pole position. Should the Navajo go on fire? Let's find out in 3 hours.
Let's see what the camera tells us, because we can only see 2 lengths behind Global Citizen at the moment.
Good, is it?
Well, this is one of those situations we've seen before.
He's jumped it.
He's close enough now. In trouble.
He's close enough now.
Here comes Tommy's Oscar. This is some horse, this, isn't
it?
Smooth. Can you believe this? Took 7 goes to win a point.
You're going to back this for the champion hurdle.
Well, look, let's see what he does. 2 out. Ping. Away he goes.
He should win this by 10.
Falling in a hole. Hunter's Call, a veteran, just can't race like this anymore. Global Citizen, a horse that's won Grade 2s. He's absolutely laughing at him. This is a very, very good horse. He started off of goodness knows what market.
Let's see what he gets.
And he is thriving. Each season we get a horse that just goes on an absolute jolly. And this bloke is having the time of his life. and he's absolutely hosed up. Yes, the market might suggest he was supposed to do this. Yes, Hunter's Gall hasn't really fired, but the way that race was run, the way he went into it, you have to love this horse. Ryan McCue, did you see that from Danny McMenamin? He punched the line.
Punched the line.
Global Citizen 4.8 in run a low, I should say. 4.5 Navajo Pass. But in the end, it was really easy for Tommy's Oscar. You knew two or three out that he was going to pick the 2 leaders. So Punter's Call never really landed a blow, along with my selection in the 3-place market, Rocket Den. It was a really good performance by Tommy's Oscar. But again, he's beat a 10-year-old in Global Citizen, having his first run off a wind up, and Blinkered first time Navajo Pass is down to a mark of 140 now. But he's improved no end this season, and it'll be interesting to see where they go next. Maybe something like the Aintree Hurdle might be up the street in April, but Tommy's Oscar ran out a really impressive winner. 1.95 is in running high, so punters were never too really worried down the back straight.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, okay. A debrief on this. We've got the 220 at Ascot coming up, another fascinating race. Go on, get it out of the way. You're underwhelmed, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, Honeysuckle's going to be absolutely shaking her boots.
Without taking a mickey, what would Honeysuckle have done in a race like that?
Well, she'd have won by about,
What? How many?
3 flights or something.
Interesting. Do you actually believe that?
If she wanted to.
Well, if she wanted to, yeah, of course. But these tactical scenarios, right? They don't. It can make monkeys of the best jockeys and horses, can't they?
Yeah, I can see where Gino's coming from. That. Yes, he's won that well. I don't think it's improved his form any. We've got an RPR of 159 on Musselburgh. I'm not sure he'll ever run any higher than that. But it does just give substance to it. I thought the reason to take him on today was, can we believe Musselburgh?
Yeah.
Well, we can believe Musselburgh now because he's turned out and done it again. And even though Global Citizen and Navajo Pass went very fast down that hill, at no point was Tommy's Oscar in any trouble, really. He was always able to go the pace. And that encourages you for when he runs in something like a champion hurdle. I'd be very surprised if he
All right. Let us get okay. We've got feed issues out there, guys. I've got a feeling that
this race. I saw this race making the BBC pages. If a race these days makes the BBC pages, then it should be making ITV1. But that's just sort of logical from a sporting perspective, as Dave says. There's commercial considerations that we would never think of and probably want to think of. So let's let them do it. But it is a bit of a shame that we can't see this race on the main ITV channel.
Yes, Infield jumps, flat jumps. Do you think it's going to work, this? People can stay, of course. We're back! I'm delighted to say we're back. The plug has been put in.
Because I criticised
If you could only have heard what we were talking about in between here. That's the real fly on the wall stuff. Listen, don't worry about it. We're back. The technician. They tried to pull the plug on Graeme Rodway.
They cut it because Melrose started talking about the Ida.
We got Kieran, our new senior producer, doing his first real live, and I'll tell you, this couldn't happen, Kieran. But the government tried to pull the plug on Graeme Rodway. Not a bit of it here at the Racing Post.
And he's not joking about the Ida, actually.
We were talking about the Ida Chase. That's what we like to talk about here. One thing I will say for you out there, and welcome back. Well, you're here. Well, Hugh Massey, I can see saying G-Rod has trolled the stream into submission. You're back, said Dan the Man, laughing, all that sort of thing. It's what a pleasure it is to watch racing with you guys. It's been a little while since I did it. This is what it's like in a full Racing Post office. Not that we have had one since early 2020, but the stick and we wear our hearts on our sleeves when we're watching racing. And that Ascot handicap that we had, well, we all were on one, all that sort of thing. That's how it is. So let's hope you are enjoying it out there. We go back to Ascot. And we have now got, overrated chat. Talking to Graeme Rodway, maybe this was why they tried to pull the plug. They knew what was coming. Hugh Masson says he's with you. Surname and Clanders Ober the most rated. Well, surname definitely.
Well, no. The fact he's not done it since, and he's a Fruit Loop is neither here nor there. He was that good.
I'm with you on that. I think he's overrated. I don't think he should have got that magic 180.
Mally, what?
Oh, Mally Draycott.
No.
The most overrated brave man's game. Is this time for Bob Ollinger chat with you? We haven't.
They'll never race against each other again.
Do you don't think it's going to happen?
Never. He'll be racing over 3 miles.
Spoke to John Dance, a part owner of Brave Man Game, with Brian Drew. He's very keen to just like he did with Lawrence, just let them. I want to see my horses take on the best. So, Nickel, there is a bit of a tussle, I think, for Team Ditchy and Team Owners.
Well,
Brian Drew is, he's
you can tell that, look,
a great character.
Nichols is not being shy about this. He's saying, I don't want to run at Chelsea. Look, it's slight subtext, but it's not difficult to see.
Jack Reeve, who's doing the social, said we literally broke the internet as well there as well. So you're finally, they're trying to pull the plug. But don't worry, Graeme, we have got your back. Surname's a good one, I think.
Bob Ollinger was very good, wasn't he?
Right, the other day.
Yeah, he was very good.
A lot of people weren't convinced about him. Keels actually yesterday in the famous CAF where we go and honestly our post-match talks in the CAF are it's like boot room.
It's like the Railway Arms in Life on Mars, isn't it?
That's exactly what it's like.
We do a show there one day.
And basically, we could do a show from the CAF one day. Absolutely, they'd love that. But he said, I think he exerts himself jumping fences, and it was only until the other day, and a lot of people saw that, it was when the Ollinger Turbo, it was like an atom.
I'm still willing to hear the argument that Bob Ollinger is a sort of horse whose attributes lend themselves better to hurdles races. That turbo he's got, the way he goes through races. He possibly is a hurdler. They're going to try and make into a chaser because the big prizes are over fences.
And they've got
Honeysuckle's in the yard and all that sort of stuff. He could have been, if Honeysuckle didn't exist, and Bob Ollinger had won that race like he did last year, he would be favourite for the champion hurdle.
This is the thing. If it wasn't for Honeysuckle, people do, but I think a lot of people in racing do think
when he
Bob
passed
Ollinger
the
would be going
line
there.
in that race last year, we sat here and, a few of us, including me, said champion hurdle horse.
Yeah. But unlike Brave Man's Game,
that, didn't we? I was the same as you, but didn't we get laughed at a bit? He'll never run on a champion hurdle. Got Honeysuckle. Well, that's not the point I'm making here. I'm saying that this is a fast hurdler. This is a horse that could run on a champion hurdle.
And a lot of Ballymore winners drop back, don't they? So,
use that information to tell you about what you think he's going to do over fences. How many horses that could have won a champion hurdle?
Trained by anyone else. I don't know if Honeysuckle. You're right. It's the Honeysuckle factor why he's over fences. But does he overexert himself over fences? Unlike Galloping de Champs and Brave Man's Game, who find it effortless, perhaps he does take a bit out of himself. And if it wasn't for the fact there's a lack of opposition at the moment in the marsh, it might just be one you get a target.
I was against him after that first run and said I didn't like the way he jumped. I thought he jumped much
a lot better. It was more than satisfactory,
a lot
wasn't
better
it?
second time out. I thought he was a lot more fluent, and I didn't like the head carriage actually when he did hit that turbo. He was sort of looking around.
I agree. I just wanted, before we go to Ascot, Jack Reeves sent me something in on Twitter. You're trending. Okay, you mean the unbeaten, multiple graded winner, John Bond, is the most... What an overreaction, says Owen. I'm with you, Owen. I have both Dysart, Dynamo and Constitute ahead of him at the moment, despite sitting on a 33-1 ticket for the Supreme. But the gap is nowhere near as wide as you people are suggesting.
Owen's always got in his is through anti-post bet there, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah, he has. He's got a little advert.
Yeah, I can slag off G-Rods and also make myself look good. So, see you there, Owen. I see you.
But you won't be collecting on that, Owen, so we might as well throw it away now.
So if you're wondering what we're talking about, G-Rod said the most overrated horse in training is John Bon after the opening race here on Racing Post Live. We're whittling through. I love these mares races that are coming up, and I absolutely love Ryan. I love them. Yeah, I don't know why. I've just started hitting the back of the net.
Are you the only one in Britain who likes them?
They're pretty good
Come
races,
on,
aren't they?
for goodness sake. Honeysuckle started off with them. What you on about, man? Come on, get off your high horse with that one.
But, I mean, if Honeysuckle had been trained by Willie Mullins, she might never have won a champion hurdle. She might have won 10 mares hurdle.
Let's go to Ascot, though, for the SBK Mares Hurdle. It's grade 2. Some tough nuts in this. Western Victory is a mare I love, Ryan McCue. What about you?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Dave. She's a really tough, likeable mare, very consistent. Ground-wise, she's very versatile. Trip-wise, she's very versatile. Makes her stable debut for the Emma Lavelle Yard today as a 9-year-old. She was obviously bought with broodmare purposes in mind going forward. 80,000 they paid and 36,000 the winner today. So it might be a shrewd buy after today. I think it'll probably turn out a shrewd buy anyway. And I'm going to have £40 Keith on Western Victory in the win market on the exchange, please, at around 3.65. Molly Ollie's Wishes is favoured in the market at 3.0, so 2-1 Molly Ollie's Wishes. It was a little bit weaker this morning, but it's been well backed of late, Molly Ollie's Wishes. My sister Sarah, obviously a big day for Willie Mullins later on with an Ergamine. They kick off here with My Sister Sarah. She's 4.3, steady enough in the market. But I think Tom Bellaby, if he can get a clear run down to the first couple and build up a lead, I think he might be able to stay there on Western Victory. It was very tough from the front, and she's my selection in this race.
I'm with you, Ryan. Happy to be in company as well. She'd run through a brick wall with you. They said before she won last time out that she was going to sales. Emma Lavelle has inherited a real tough nut here. On Molly Ollie's Wishes, it's a skeleton thing now, isn't it? Of course, they're on a treble at Ascot. Molly Ollie's Wishes, she comes back against the boys, the girls, sorry. She's going to be the traveller in the race, I assume.
Yeah, she's also probably going to be better on the sort of slightly softer ground. Our bad runs have coincided generally with running on better ground, as in the one against Buzz last time. So the reason she's not run probably since the Ascot Hurdle is to maybe wait for this sort of ground. And I put her up this morning. She was actually, at the time I sent the email, she was third favourite. She was 11-4, 3-1. But she has been strong, possibly on the back of the day the Skeletons are having at Ascot. So I just thought she was, none of those other mares I'm not sure could go up against boys and compete the way Molly's Ollie's Wishes does. And conditions are absolutely bang on here. I thought she was a logical favourite. And she's favourite now, so that's where she deserves to be. When she was third favourite, she made a lot more appeal to me. But I do think she's justified in being where she is. She shouldn't have needed the yard to be having the day they're having for her to get to that position. Fair
enough. All right, so the market's got it about right. Yeah, I'm not going to dissuade anyone from that as well. What about this Snowden horse, G? Tom Scalb put this up as well. Yeah. It looked like it wanted the trip last time. I just wondered whether it had a bit of a hard race last time at Sandown.
Martello Sky is a decent mare.
She's a lovely mare.
Well beaten in that race at Aintree, wasn't she? When she was well backed behind Bruin up a storm.
Yes.
But did bounce back. I don't really have a strong view on this race. I just think that it's very, very difficult. I would have backed Impressive Lady if she had run, but she's not running. Anything for Love Meatloaf, of course?
Oh, gosh.
Tom Siegel said, it would be no more topical a winner than Anything for Love.
Well,
not a dry eye in the house if Anything for Love wins for Meatloaf. I'm sure
he was young, wasn't he, Meatloaf?
74.
Was he 74? I thought, was he that old?
Yeah, he's 74.
You're a fan?
And my parents were big Meatloaf fans, so I had a lifetime, a childhood of listening to his CDs in the car.
Bat Out of Hell and all that sort of thing. He used to just annoy my ears, if I'm honest with you.
I could go do Bat Out of Hell backwards.
Was it Fight Club he was in, wasn't it?
He was in Fight Club, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're off and running, thank goodness, in the 220. Thanks for joining us back. Stick with us, some gremlins, but we are back. And as expected, the ex-Irish mare goes on. She will run through a brick wall for you, this Western Victory. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. She says, Anything for Love, page full of Jamie Snowden, big ride for page this. A bit keen in second, but we think wants the trip. My Sister Sarah, interesting horse. Is this just basically coming on the boat, basically, for an Ergamine? Willie Mullins.
Only the fourth ride Townend's ever had at Ascot, actually.
What, really?
At all,
ever?
yeah. So he had one ride back in 2016. He's running undersold twice in the Clarence House, and this is his fourth ride at Ascot.
That's remarkable, isn't it? Probably his first at Lingfield yesterday. He's not. I guess he's not a jockey that travels much.
No, when he was second string to Walsh for all those years, and Walsh used to come across and ride the ones in England when they came across.
Is this going too fast? Ryan McCue, what does the market say? It's Western Victory. Has she gone too hard?
I don't think so. This is what she usually does. She does keep going. She's 3.65, having BSP at 3.9. So punters are siding with her at the moment. Molly Zolly's Wish is obviously getting a nice toe into the race. 2.36, having BSP at 2.64. So Molly Ollie's Wishes is the one they want in running at the moment.
As a rule, on the Betfair sort of in running markets, horses that blast off, even if you're sitting there watching and thinking, they've gone too hard here, the market in running tends to side with the horse that is blasted off. Not like massively, but they will shorten at this stage,
Yeah, I mean, actually, Harry Skelton is alive to it, isn't he? This is a horse that tends to come into our races off the bridle, but she's not going to let this one go.
Yeah, this reminds me a little bit of Dino's Beano. Remember
Dino's? Yeah, man.
And all those long walk hurdles
the pipe
where it
blaster.
used to go off like this. This is that far clear. This
the glory days for me. Dino's Beano Barracuda.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Oh man, absolutely superb.
He was a
Barracuda
star,
used to
wasn't
come
he?
there, didn't he? Just absolutely cruising.
Yes, I remember.
And get it ready, it was. But Dino's Beano was a proper horse. Yeah, and at Ascot as well, of course. And she's a proper mare. This Western Victory.
Is my sister Sarah just not fancying this because she's out in last, being sort of pushed along, not jumping very well?
Who's that? My sister Sarah. Yeah, not at all.
She must be a big price now, is she, Ryan?
Look at Molly Ollie.
Yeah, my sister Sarah's out to 8.6, G-Rod. Yeah, she's way back. They have the cheapies on for a reason. She can race a little bit idle. But Western Victory's getting shorter all the while. Maybe I should have put in an in-run and lay to my bet pre-race. But she's 2.64 now, and they're getting closer in the bet, and it looks a match according to the exchange in running punters. It's 2.62 now, Molly Ollie Wishes, and 2.48 Western Victory.
Now, this is the first run for Lavelle. First time that Tom Bellamy sat on this. Of course, we've been at home plenty, I'm sure, since they've inherited us since December. But at some point, the other horses, are they going to have to go through the pain barrier to make up the deficit?
Possibly. Now, this is the important bit because this is the downhill run. They've just turned away from the stands and they run the next sort of half mile downhill to Swinley Bottom. And if you're Harry Skelton and you're wanting to make up that ground, this is probably the time to do it. And if Tom Bellamy wants to really cement his advantage, he'll press on. This is a really important tactical part of the race because if Skelton knows this, he knows if he's making ground up on that run from Swinley Bottom to the home bend, he's probably left it too late. So she's not got that right, Molly Ollie's Wishes either. So
let's have a look at the exchange here, Keith, because she's gone odds on now, hasn't she?
Yeah, but even money or odds on now. Yeah, she's.
Go on, up you go.
So Skelton he's going to ride her into this hurdle, and she's not come up for him. So this is all everything's coming up Millhouse here for Western Victory.
Come on then, man. I'd say that Molly's Ollie's got to be the one, Ryan, isn't it? If there is one.
Yeah. I think the big thing with Western Victory, lads, just from watching her in Ireland, when horses get to her, she does find a little bit extra. She's so gutsy and determined that even if Molly Ollie's Wishes gets within a couple of lengths, Harry Skelton might think he has her at that stage, but she will keep going, and Tom Bellamy probably knows that, having watched the races back. She's now 4-5 in running Western Victory and getting shorter at the moment.
We haven't got on Molly's yet. Harry had a confident look through his legs there as if to say, I'm going to get her.
Well, he's got the rest covered. That's what you'll be thinking that, and then it's just what do I do with him?
My sister Sarah gone. Anything for love. That hard race at Sandown. Definitely, she's not enjoying this. White Hot Chili Filly, one of the best named horses in training, is not totally gone. With Harry Fry's got a great record. Of course, he won the first at Lingfield, just a very promising mare as well. She's not totally done. Now they're starting to come. The pack guys. What's she got left?
It's uphill all the way, isn't it?
It is. So you don't want to make up that ground quickly. So Harry Skelton should be thinking, I've got 5 furlongs to the last to make up this ground, make it constantly, and just.
She's going to need to be Roxana Mark II to do this, though, isn't
it's
she?
Only 15 lengths now. Yes, it's 10 lengths now.
Yeah, now they're coming. All right, this is where we see.
It's how much she's had to use up to catch
and what she got left. Now Harry's very confident, and the market's going low. Okay, they're turning. If you're on the fav, come on, Tom, he's behind you. This is ridiculous. Tom Bellamy know he's there. I don't think she's got anything left, guys, has she? Oh, dear.
She's done this so easy.
Absolutely running into the ground. I think Tom Bellamy will be saying, sorry, God, I went a bit quick there.
Harry Skelton's never seen an opportunity kick for whom he hasn't liked.
Unbelievable.
He's never seen an opportunity kick for whom he hasn't liked, so we'll see.
Okay, is this hang on a minute, this has gone too soon.com, is it? I mean,
no, he's trying,
bless her, to get back into it. Okay, 2 out. Over goes Molly Ollie's Wishes. White Hot Chili Filly's on a going day today. My sister Sarah
needs to keep it up
has gone 0-0-0. Now Harry's looking and he's thinking, come on, I've got to push.
My sister Sarah.
This is going to be it. This is be ridiculous if this gets up. This is Paul Townend. He's filling his lungs. No, surely this is going to be hard to get up on the run.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, Keith's going to be on a quick double here at Ascot. The insufferable rationalist that he is.
She's not got loads left.
No, she's going to last
really
home.
Tired.
She is walking.
Tell you what surprised me.
Absolutely walking.
When I looked at Ascot, I looked at the topography of Ascot the other day for the... Oh, hello. No, she's going to hold on.
She's all right.
She's going to hold on. But
my sister Sarah, frustrating, I'm sure for a lot of people that just put faith in Mullins, looked like it was going to be, what price she went, I don't know, but nearly clawed it back.
It does actually, after the last over fences at Ascot, I wouldn't say it flattens out, but the gradient decreases a little bit. So it's not like a wall, like it maybe will continue to be at Sandown. Once you've cleared the last over fences, you'll probably keep going.
Has Tom Bellamy just had a bit of a rush of blood to the head there? We're talking about a 2-mile-7 filly. She doesn't mare. She's not one that's buzzy or anything. Western Victory. That's him controlling that.
She's out the telly by 2. She's jumped 3 out in front, and she's jumped 2 out 20 lengths down and in 4th.
And it was almost like he hadn't spotted Harry when he came up, and it's because he knew he had nothing left.
She ran 7 weeks ago, and she's come from Ireland. I don't know the exact date she landed in the Lavelle Yard. But it could be that they've not had enough time with her.
I think it was the Cheltenham meeting, wasn't it, when they had the sales for the 10th or whatever.
All right, so he's been so. Is she quite fit? And if she's not quite fit, has he been too aggressive? There's, but
let's go to Ryan then and find out what prices they all went in running, because it was again like we had at Haydock, a bit of a crazy one.
Yeah, it was. Harry Skelton obviously took it up with ease. Western Victory folded pretty tamely, in fairness, when Molly's Ollie's Wishes got to him. I didn't think that would be the case. 1.71, so 8 to 11, just under 8 to 11 was the in-run low for Western Victory. She built up that big lead early on, obviously. And my sister Sarah hit an in-run low of 3.0, so 2 to 1, my sister Sarah. 4.3 was the biggest that Molly Ollie's Wishes was matched at. Whoever got that was happy to look kind of all over at that stage, even though she did go out to about 4 to 1 on, 1.25 in between the last couple of flights, and when she was getting a little bit tired. But she stuck on well to win. And we're 14 to 1 from 20 to 1 for the Mayor's Hurdle for Molly Ollie's Wishes. Whether they take up that engagement or not, I'm not too sure.
Is she good enough for that sort of sphere?
Well, yes, because the Mayor's Hurdle is really... I know we talk about the Irish winning it every year, but the Mayor's Hurdle is really that deep. And it's a race where you could quite easily pick yourself up second or third.
You do see it, don't you? Horses return, don't they, each year and come good in it.
I think she's definitely good enough to make the frame in a race like that. And if that's what the owners are happy to aim for and get a horse in the frame at Cheltenham, then it's absolutely the right target.
And Dan Skelton always goes on his holiday to Dubai
does he now?
In January, yeah. We're hearing all about that. And he
Sounds
does,
lovely.
like the governor, he vaccinates all his... Because the governor, Paul Nichols, goes to Barbados, of course. Yeah. They all go in January. They vaccinate all their horses and they're like, well, the ones...
How do you get on this?
They run the BT.
How do you get on these nice holidays? That sounds nice.
I don't know. Have you had a flu vaccination?
I've never been to Barbados.
Have you never been to Barbados?
No.
Oh, they'd love you over there, G.
Yeah.
You're that sort of controversial figure that they'd love over there.
I could put out like an invite and ask them to invite me over.
Listen, all they've got to do is steer them to the overrated market on Twitter.
If you're listening, Barbados, I'd love to come.
It's absolutely fantastic over there. Yeah, Garrison Savannah, the dinner plate of a track, it's absolutely mental.
They race over there, do they?
You see a lot of ex-English and Irish horses.
It's about this time of year, isn't it?
Gay Smith, all their horses that don't quite cut the mustard, she owns half of the island.
I'm sure it's this time of year they have their big meeting over there. It's in late January.
The jocks go over, don't they? Yeah. Spencer's, Donahue's, all those guys go over. It would be a right crack.
Coincided with a test match a couple of years ago because my mum and dad went.
Garfield Sobers, the ground or whatever it is. Anyway, we digress. Barbados, one of the greatest islands on this planet. Right, where are we going? Oh, it's Peter Marsh time.
Let's get into the Peter Marsh. Let's get.
I know this is one of the reasons why you're in today, isn't it? But before we go to the insufferable rationalist that is Quizmaster Melrose, let's go to Ryan McCue. Where is last year's winner, Royal Pagaille?
Yeah, the head of the betting as he has been all week, Dave. 3.9 Royal Pagaille, so fairly steady, it has to be said. At the moment, Empire Steel is attracting a little bit of support in the last few minutes. He's into 5.2, second favourite, remastered at 5.6, and then it's 10.0 and bigger the rest. We're paying 4th place on the Betfair Sports, but I think that's another good concession to punters. But my bet in the race is going to be Empire Steel, the very unexposed horse of Sandy Thompson. He only had 8 starts on the rules. I'm going to back him in the win market and in the 2-place market. Given the 50 the odds on the each way market, I think we're better off going win and 2 place. So I'm going to have £25 win, Keith, please, at 5.4, and then in the 2-place market, he's around a 7 to 4, 15 to 8 chance. So we'll have another £25 on that. He was running really well in the Roland Merrick last time when he came down. He might have won that day. Goodbye, Bobby ran out the winner in the end. And before that, he made his seasonal reappearance over course and distance when running into Strictly a Dancer, who was on a real upward curve at that stage. He looked like he might win up the straight, but got ran over late on. He was entitled to improve from that run, which he did at Wetherby. And I think he'll show more again today if he can stand up this time, obviously coming off the back of that fall. But as I said, he's only had 8 runs on the rules. He's very unexposed. This is Royal Pagaille's trip, ground and track, I think, for to see him at his best. but he has to give lumps of weight away. He's running off 163, so it's not going to be easy for him. And I think Empire Steel getting all that weight is a decent bet at around 4-1, 9-2 on the exchange.
You have been told by Ryan McCue, one of the brightest up-and-coming traders Betfair have. And he's all over this Empire Steel. It was one of two for me. I thought I could have a go at Royal Pagaille with one of these two horses when the market came out. We'll go through the rest of them. But Empire Steel is what I call a sting race, the Roland Merrick for me now for the rest of the season. I watch it back and it stings because he would have won that. And I was all over him.
I didn't back, because I backed Debechi for that race, but had Debechi not run at all, he got pulled out like on the day. Had he not been pulled out on a day, I'd have been back in Empire Steel. I'd have been the same.
It was a silly fall as well. It's that fourth last that can catch them out of Weatherby.
I have never been so certain that a horse that fell 4 out before it was in front was going to win by a long way.
And Posty was in with us, and he was on a Good Boy Bobby, and he wouldn't have that at all. He said far too far out, and he was a tired fall, he said. But Kevin Morning, the excellent Kevin Morning, in his trends column, has gone for this chap in the paper today. Apparently 2 of the last 10 winners have come to grief on the last starts and that sort of thing. So it's a race where you can come back, because Haydock isn't the toughest jumping examination.
It wasn't in the time that Kevin's looking at, but I think it has been in the last couple of years. It's got back a little bit tougher than it was. The thing with Empire Steel was, as I said earlier in the show, that's 3 furlongs out, the 4th last at Weatherby, and it took them a minute to finish from there. They were legless.
Yeah, and he was cruising, wasn't he?
If he'd kept up the gallop at all, I'm not saying he's a stone ahead of his mark, but if he'd kept up that gallop at all, he'd have won by 20 lengths.
Let's get a social up on the screen then, shall we? As we can see Molly's Oscars, that last result from Ascot, the 220 there. Royal Pagaille, we'll talk about him in a minute. And Hugh Masson comes on. Royal Pagaille time, says Hugh, one of our regulars. Ran a massive race at Haydock with cut leg. Yeah, of course. I'm most worried about Empire Steel. All right, there you go. This time last year, do you remember Enzo said this will not come off the bridle in the Gold Cup? He put himself nearly favourite for the Gold Cup.
Enzo did.
Enzo said that. He thought he'd seen the second coming in this. Or will we see it again? Is the ground soft enough for him?
Yeah, I think he'd be all right on it.
Who's the bet?
Yeah, I think he'll win, Royal Pagaille. I mean, it's not one of my strongest fancies of the afternoon. I'm not sure that he ran that well at Haydock last time out, beaten 22 lengths by Plutard. I mean, he was, it was a weird race. They all fell apart behind the winner. I just thought that he might outclass them. He's a Haydock monkey, isn't he?
He could have done with proper Haydock ground, though, couldn't he?
Well, that's right.
Is he the new
Bristol Demai. Well, we might find out. Could he go for the Betfair Chase?
Just a word for me
without a superstar in it.
A word for me from Aladam, who's in the race. Obviously, the Skeletons are having a great day.
This horse is a tricky
one.
one.
I spoke to Keels about this early in the year, and he says it's just a paceless 2.5 mile horse, isn't he?
I got a feeling he's right.
And he might be right, but Siegel and I both think he's worth another go at 3. I think his failure to stay at Cheltenham might just be that Cheltenham's not his track. His best form's all at Sandown, where he's led around the pond fence when you've got 4 or 5 furlongs to run and it's all uphill. He's just a horse that needs a long straight to unfurl, and that's what he's going to get at Haydock. We know that straight at Haydock. It's about 3-4 furlongs, and it takes a lot of getting. So this is the chance he gets. You know, he's 14-1. I have had a bit on him at 14-1 on the sort of off chance. Empire Steel is the bet in the race.
Okay.
And I've already went through the case for him. But having a little saver on Almazan. But Empire Steel, I thought was going to win the Roland Merrick by quite a long way, partly because of circumstances rather than him being, chucked in. But I just thought that there was a lot going for him, and that Royal Pagaille, we'll find out today if he's that good.
Yeah, we will, because of course the handicap mark is, what is it? He's £7 higher, isn't he, than when he won last
7
year?
or 8. Yeah.
But again, would have won it on his with that on his back as Kill said. You say,
but it was
remastered for me.
Such a weaker race last year.
It was absolutely, but you could see halfway down the back that he was laughing at them, couldn't you? That's why. I think
Sam's Adventure fell then, and he was still running he was in form at that time.
Sam Brown is in the race. We'll get to him in a second. He won the novice chasing list. I like Remastered, who I think would have won the Ladbrokes Trophy. Did he not come down 4 out? Did he just need it a little bit in the Tommy Whittle, where he was second, albeit well beaten last time? Owners thought he was 90% that day. We'll find out, because they're off and running. And Sam's Adventure, one of the carrots in the race, along with Sam Brown. He's interesting, this chap. Really talented. Aintree last time, wasn't it? Protectorat form. And again, is it soft enough for him? Out the back, Empire Steel. Oh, look at that one, didn't he, Empire Steel? Amazing when a horse has got an F next to its name. Saw one in the week. I was analysing at Wincanton. They smashed a Jack Barber horse called One-Upmanship, I think it was called.
Oh, yeah.
And it didn't go over the first fence. Totally lost its confidence. And it's going to be a rebuild job back. Let's hope that's not the case for Empire Steel. He's observing from rear.
That's incredible extrapolation, that. He's putting a short one at the first.
He's had a look at it. He's had a look at it.
Putting a short one.
He's had, let's having a look at it. All right, let's watch the next fence and we shall see.
It's one of those stats you can make play whichever way you want to. For last time out.
Have you tried to do that then? Have
Last
you?
time out,
Did you give up on that one?
You can mess around with the figures and make it look profitable or not, depending on what you want to argue. There's a lot of stats you can do that with, of course.
All right, I had this down to 4, I should say. 4 to Skew and Kaluki with the other ones. I thought Kaluki is a horse that has just waited to come right. He beat, of course, Cat Tiger, didn't
That's
he?
half a Hobbs' yard these days.
Well, horses that don't quite measure up.
Alnadam's already
First time
pushed,
cheap pieces,
is he?
despite the fact he won. Alnadam not really going. Under Bridge Andrews. Let's have a look then. Where's Royal Pagaille? Right out the back as well.
It's gone wide though.
That's interesting. Lord de Menil. Jerry McGrath put this up on a feature show yesterday. He said, I can't believe he's only 9, said Jerry. Does seem to be around a long time.
Well, he's probably because every time he races, you see him on the screen for 10 minutes.
Now, would I be right about Empire Still here? Let's have a look. Oh, he's definitely, I'll tell you what, something's not quite right in his mind, Empire Still.
I'm not sure about that. I think you're being a bit
He stood off that one. Well,
premature.
I didn't see the second
Giron saying
fight.
you're being premature. He was calling John Bond beat after a mile.
He loves to do that. And he's not jumping Empire Still.
He's out he shouldn't be this far out the back.
Whoever's analysing this, I guarantee... Is he going to pull him up? No, he's
pulling
pulling
wide to get...
outside.
You don't pull them up by going that way.
Yeah, no, you're right. This is Haydock we're talking about. Listen, I don't often know what fence we're at. Okay, Fortescue in the middle. He's a player as well. Sam's Adventure, if he comes back to form, could well have a say. It's all up here with Sam's Adventure.
They're trying to ride the Sam's Adventure more positively. He actually needs the mud, this horse, I think.
Hills has put up Lakeview Lad, hasn't he?
He has.
The stunning grey.
Another horse that's been dropped very, very quickly in a way he wouldn't have been in previous years.
Yes, okay, so the Cheltenham factor with Lakeview Lad, although he's definitely more
The problem with
of an
going out
entry
wide
horse.
to see your fences at Haydock is you end up running 40 yards further on this bend, which is exactly what Empire Steel's finding now.
Let's go to Ryan, because one horse that has had a lovely trip through this so far, hopefully I won't put the commentator's cursor, is Remastered. And what's the market saying? As we were?
Yeah, pretty much so. Royal Pagaille is 3.3, so 9 to 4, having gone off 5 to 2. He was a bit low at that fence, though. He got in tight. I think Empire Steel, in regards to his jumping, David, it looks to me like he has his own way of doing things. He was a bit low and he stands off a couple. I think he has his own way of jumping. He's 5.5, so in-run and punter's not too worried, having gone off 4 to 1. He's only out to 9 to 2 now. He seems to be jumping a little bit better, having switched out wide for Brian Hughes. There's plenty in a line in behind the leaders. Lord de Menil is into 12, having gone off 14 to 1. So he's shortened a little bit, but there's plenty of chances, and everything seems to be travelling within themselves with a second.
Royal Pagaille is just going to win easily, isn't he?
Well, it's
been run very differently.
He flew that one.
It's been run very differently to the Betfair Chase, where it was quite a hard run race. And
The bookmakers on Saturdays now see William Deutsch, that combination, they just automatically start to duck for cover a little bit, don't they? On anything they run.
But don't we expect Royal Pagaille to travel like this though into the race, and then maybe the weight might tell late on. I'd expect him to be able to travel easily early on in the race.
Just being chivied a little bit.
Well, he got a slap down the shoulder there. Oh, here, Alnadam is not having
Weird
fun.
run, isn't it, from Alnadam?
He's a funny horse.
He might just be a.
Is he not a Sandown horse? I've just always had him down as like that win at Sandown.
He's got his best forms at Sandown, but what does that tell you? You can put it down to magic, or you can put it down to some of the horse's characteristics.
Or the fact that he loves Sandown, actually.
I think it might be the fact he's actually a bit of a swine, actually.
Mate, a swine, says Keith Melrose, the betting editor. Unlike Sam's Adventure, hasn't got a swine yet. When he won the Tommy Whittle Sam's Adventure, he got a smack
Sam's
before the
Adventure will
first
never
fence.
get a swine from Melrose because he won the Ida.
Absolutely.
No, he had not. Sam's Adventure, he can't be bothered half the time, can he?
And yet, when others cry enough, he goes, all right, I'll run on again. He's a bit like that. But at the moment, it's Sam Brown who's showing them all a clean pair of heels and jumping quite nicely indeed. Kaluki, that's a costly error. I think that'll be as the race goes on. Empire Still, keep looking at him. He's got better in the jumping department.
He missed that one a bit.
You're just trying to cover
Lakeview Lad's moved up very quickly, hasn't he? He's now right up there.
Yeah, Remastered. I just don't know what he's got underneath him. Remastered. He wasn't brilliant there actually. But I keep going back to National Hunt form. We're waiting for Ascaria 10 to come out hopefully next week as well, aren't we? Thyestes.
It's good, isn't it? That form, yeah.
Really? Oh, it's top notch. Absolutely. Snow Leopardess. She wins the National, doesn't she?
Wins the National.
She's a.
Oh, they got the best. She got the best ride in the Beecher.
I've never seen a horse jump like that before. It was one of the best days we've ever had in here, wasn't it?
You never watched Frankie Fig then?
I think Royal Pagaille's in trouble. Do you, or is he going well? I can't.
Empire Steel's tanking, isn't he?
Yeah, Lakeview Lad doesn't look like he's enjoying it all of a sudden. The old
This is what he
veteran
did.
chases
He did this at Weatherby, so I'm not getting too excited yet.
All right, okay. So forward to Skew again. There've been some indifferent.
Sam Brown goes very well, but again, he's not proved he stays a real 3 mile plus.
Empire Still, is he flattering to deceive? What's the market saying?
I think he is. I don't know what he's holding on to
All the
here.
top 3 in the market then, maybe just Remastered. I don't know who's got underneath him Remastered. I just don't know.
You have to go wide now, Brian.
Okay, so let's and now the dam not totally done with. Royal Pagaille now switched to the inside, G.
I'm not sure he's going that well, but he is making ground, isn't he?
Yeah, and of course, second to Aplutard is a class horse in the race. Remastered, though, now coming. He looks surely he's going to go a bit lower, isn't he? In fact, nearly Fav, I would imagine.
Yeah.
This is a good horse, Remastered. They're hoping, of course, this will be the next Native River for them. Let's see what he's
Empire
got.
Steel's got
What have
absolutely
we got?
nothing.
3 out?
Got 4 out here.
Four out. Good jump by
Royal Pagaille
Remastered.
for
Good
him.
jump by Royal Pagaille. But still Sam Brown the one to beat. Tom Scudamore fancies he's got this, doesn't he? Look at Royal Pagaille. How much
he's
weight's
got
he
a lot
getting
of
off
weight,
him?
though. That's the problem.
Bundles of weight. Come on, Tom. You've got to make this count. Lord Dominiel and Fortescue running on for 4th and 5th respectively at the moment. This
he
looks
flew
like
it,
Class
Royal
Horse is
Pagaille.
going to get it. This is a proper,
flew
again,
it.
right old performance, this. And it
I
could
don't know.
be
Is he going to
national horse.
stop? I get the feeling
No,
he's going to
he's
stop.
not gonna stop.
I think he's going to
He's thrown
stop.
his head
Remastered is finding his second win. Sam Brown, you'd be surprised if he rallied. But
He's
let's
He's
have
got
a
a lot of
look.
weight, Dave.
This is
Oh,
2
he flew
out.
it.
Remastered over 1 in 3rd, but he's got,
he's
what,
getting
4 lengths
tired.
to
This is
find.
gonna- they're gonna
This
be
is a brave
walking on
performance,
here.
this. Charlie Deutsch doesn't give this up, does he? I don't think. Fortescue and Remastered.
Is Sam Brown going to get up the rails?
Sam Brown going for a run.
He's going to get up the rails.
This is Aidan
Well,
Coleman
this is going to be
coming, but
close.
Sam Brown's
Tell you what,
very
lads.
jump. This is the weight.
Flew
Remaster's really disappointed in his finishing effort. He's going to finish only 4th as Fortescue rallies.
Is he
But-
going to hold on?
No, this is last year's
This is
winner.
going to be close.
Hang on a
This
minute.
is going to be close.
Here we go. Fortescue not out of the line.
right,
Now
right.
he's picking out. He's Dossin on the line. Not a problem if you've backed Royal Pagaille. What a finish that was in the 2022 Peter Marsh. These same chases, they are a real treat, aren't they? The 3 came clear from a weary Remastered in the end. Bit disappointed with that finishing effort.
I think
but,
we can say now that Remastered was not going to win the Ladbrokes Trophy.
Yeah, well, look, I don't know.
Because what he did the same in the Tommy Whittle. You know, he jumped 4 out looking the winner. He jumped the 4 out looking the winner in the Ladbrokes Trophy and fell.
Yeah.
He's jumped 4 out looking the winner here.
He might have even done as much in the Cheltenham race last year, mightn't he? He looked very good there, so I don't know, maybe they need to stink around with his win. But that was an absolute treat, wasn't it? And well done if you stuck with the Fav out there. Ryan, a ding-dong battle. Did we see any spikes? Was it carnage?
Yeah, really gutsy performance by the winner, Royal Pagaille. 145 was the in running low for Sam Brown. Looked like the weight might tell late on. Royal Pagaille was out on his feet, but Sam Brown got tired himself. 2.1 Remastered. I think he hit around 2.1 as well in the Ladbrokes Trophy. Maybe a little bit bigger. I think he was about 5 to 4 and running. But as the lad said there, he finished really weakly there. 2.1 was his in running low. Fortescue ran a cracker to finish 3rd, but it was a really gutsy effort by Royal Pagaille. And we're 16 to 1 from 25 to 1 for the Gold Cup. But I'd imagine it would need to rain a lot during Cheltenham week for him to have a chance in the race.
That's why he's that price. It's in case it absolutely sheets down and he gets it testing in a Gold Cup, because that's the only way he wins one.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good horse. He's a high 160s horse, and high 160s horses, low 160s horses can win Gold Cups.
I'd very much like to see him in a national. Royal Pagaille.
Yeah, he jumps well, don't he?
He does, and
Yeah,
he's
jumps
got.
very well.
I liked his attitude there because
Yeah.
he could have shirked it, he could have curled, couldn't he?
You know what he should be doing? He should be running. He should be carrying. 165, 160. He should go on a Welsh national. Have one of those real Christmas
Native
treats.
River
That'd be
type
brilliant,
performance.
wouldn't it?
Yeah,
That
he
would
looks
be
like
good,
an.
wouldn't it?
He doesn't look like a national horse. He looks like a proper national horse.
Yeah.
Are you calling the Welsh national a national?
No, I'm just that is a national. It's Bruce's thing, isn't it? The Sussex and the Somerset and the London.
Bruce
the
doesn't
Devon.
get it, does he?
They're
And the
nationals
Surrey.
and potentially the Eider. But the Surrey National, is
Well-
that tomorrow? The Surrey National, isn't it?
I think so.
Is it what
It
it is? The Surrey
yeah.
National. Yeah,
It
I
used
think so.
that did exist before this year. It
No,
was-
I don't think it did.
I'm
But
sure
you
it
never
did.
know, do you? You've got all sorts of different nationals. I'm sure Jersey would have one with Batch, wouldn't they? And all that
No,
sort of
Batch has
thing.
won it 8 times, don't you know?
Victoria Malzard has now got the pride of place over there.
Victoria
So
Malzard.
Batch will be back in a couple of weeks' time, I can tell you. We've got to go back to Ascot. We are, 45 minutes away, best part of an hour, aren't we, from the absolute clash of the Titans that is Energumene versus Shishkin. Ryan, a quick update on the market with the biggie. I'll throw you that curveball, 335. Is Shishkin on the drift at all?
Yeah, he is on the drift. 1.87 now, Dave. That's the biggest he's hit in the last couple of days. And Energumene into 2.42. So Keith said at the start of the show, I think that they think you can see them getting closer in the market, and that's exactly what they're doing. At the moment, it looks like Shishkin might get out to around 10 to 11 if he keeps going the way he's going. £450,000 match in the market, so plenty of liquidity there. And 242 now in Energumene, so he's shortening all the time in the match at 335.
All right, a reminder, thank you, Ryan McCue. We have a yellow corner and we have a blue corner. Just the one in the blue corner. A nap from the betting editor, Keith Melrose. It is Energumene. Graeme Rodway, Shishkin will not get beat. Ryan McCue and myself are following him in as well. Let's get your Twitter, Facebook Live, YouTube, all out there. Let's hear it from you. This is an interactive show. We want to know from you. Which way are you going to go in the Clarence House? The best Clarence House in many years. Is it the best race away from Cheltenham in the last couple of years, or is this going to be another Alty or Surname sort of thing? Well, first Flo win. Let's hear from you.
Surname Alty was a great race. It just ruined them both.
I don't know. That's probably why I look back at that replay now and I sort of a little wince a little bit. They went so hard, didn't they? On
Well, that's what happened. As soon as Paul Nicholls knew there was going to be a fight, he's got that horse fit as a flea and gone to Harry. This
off
thing
for its life, as he said with Frodon.
Off for its life. It's what they do. It's what Nicholls does.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we've seen some cream rising. You're off the mark as well. And when we went blackout for a bit and the feed went down, you basically told us the secrets of life, didn't you? And you also said your best bets were coming later in the show.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and just had a winner.
And so it's coming.
Running. And what's the next one?
Your dream is coming true.
Oh, yeah, Phoenix Way.
We're all on Phoenix Way, are we? Let's go to Ryan McCue, find out where he's on in the 255.
Yeah, Phoenix Way is my selection as well, G-Rod. It looks fairly obvious that he'll run a big race here, given he didn't quite stay over 3 mile at Ascot last time. Drops back in trip here. There's 3 places still on the each way market on the exchange, so I think that's the way we're going to go, even with the non-runner. So we're going to have 25 each way and Phoenix Way at 7.4. You wouldn't mind keep these. Mm-hmm. As I said, the trip, I think, is a big positive for him, dropping back to 2 miles 5. He looked the winner the last day at Ascot over 3 mile. He hit a low of 1.33 in running that day. Kevin Brogan is a really good conditional coming through the ranks. He takes a valuable £3 off. He's a 9-year-old now, Phoenix Way. Probably never fulfilled his potential, it has to be said, given he ran in a Grade 1 novice chase at Sandown, and he was a decent hurdler as well. He was well fancied for attempts at one stage, having won a qualifier on the Barry Garrett, if I can remember correctly. So he never really fulfilled what his potentially showed early on. He's running off a mark of 140 here. That's well within his reach on what he's shown in the past. They have the favourite JP with Palmer's Hill. Well, he's second favourite now, I should say, at 4.6. Fanny and Destraval and Knight in Dubai are challenging for favouritism. But he's won his last 2 and has gone up £12 in the process. And I think Phoenix Way, the more exposed horse over fences, is the one to be with here for Kevin Brogan and Harry Fry.
All right, then Phoenix Way. Yeah, I agree as well. It's not like he didn't stay last time, but I think this just looks absolutely right for him. I think the fact that the weights were being kept and enabled them to run Palmer's Hill as well. It's a tiny worry about how John Joe's running for me as well. Palmer's Hill's really come good. He's a fragile horse as well. Yeah, Phoenix Way. Anything more to add to that?
Palmer's Hill won well last time. He really stormed home, but I thought Phoenix Way was the one. A dropping trip, obviously, being the key.
This is the Dashel Drasher race, of course, isn't it, from last year when he was sprung.
Two of the last 3 winners have won
Surname.
Surname
won it as well.
Yeah, of course. So we go to the Ascot Chase after this, of course, in February.
And Fanny and Destraval's running off £9 higher than Surname.
Well, Lucy Turner's been making a bit of a name for herself recently. Venetia's put a lot of trust in her, and as of some other trainers. She claims the 7. There's a young lady going places.
Yeah, she's good for 7. I mean, I think Fanny and Destraval is a difficult sort of ride, and he's not the sort of horse.
Well, he can often take a fence home with him, can't he? But it wasn't the case at Newbury last time. We could call him winner a long way out.
And that's right. He was punching down a bit there because he's a Grade 2, borderline Grade 1 horse. He was 4th in the Clarence House last year. I think he wants 2.5 miles now. I think he probably wants to go left. I think he might. I mean, Lucy Turner is a good £7 claimer, but I hope I'm not doing her down by saying I think this horse maybe needs an older and wiser head. He's that sort of horse. I thought Fanny Destraval. Well, it was too late to run him in the Peterborough, but he should be running in graded races.
We've got a gamble here, and it's Night in Dubai. Now, is this the Skelton?
It is, and I mean, you can get the graphic up now because he's a horse I put up for this race. But to be honest, if I was betting in the market now, I probably would be going for Phoenix Way like you lads are. When I looked this morning, Night in Dubai was 5 and Phoenix Way 6s, but because of the Skelton multiples or whatever.
He's on a 4-timer.
Night in Dubai's gone really quite short and is virtually co-favourite. He was a really impressive horse. He finished second to Sam Brown in that alt car. He looked like he was going to be almost graded class. Missed the whole of last season, came back at Aintree and basically shaped well, but like he needed the run. And then last time here, this over 2 mile 3 here, but he was probably in need of the run again. It was his second run after a long time off. He looked the winner at one point. And the race at Palmer's Hill won. Although Palmer's Hill would have won regardless of how fit he was potentially. But he gets like an £11 pull for that. He's been dropped 3. Palmer's Hill got a big rise in the weights. You'll get the right sort of ride again. Harry Skelton will have him prominent all the way. So I thought he was going to run a big race. Would I be backing him as 3-1 130 co-favourite at 3. I wouldn't be as keen on maybe go for Phoenix Way because I think this is a very, very good and close race. But at this morning's prices, I still thought Night in Dubai. He's a sort of horse that, without the Skelton headlines, wasn't going to get the love he deserved, but I think he does now.
Has Mason napped this, Steve Mason? Because he's got a 149 top RPR, hasn't he? He's got a 133 here. It was a good
what
run
has
last
Mason?
time. It's the sort of bet Steve might put up, I think.
He's actually got Fine and Destraval top on their RPRs, but Mason tends to nap at away meetings a lot.
Yes, he does.
He likes,
might be
likes
Taunton
that.
today or
yeah,
something like
I think
that.
it is Taunton today, actually.
All right, okay, so Dashel Drasher would have put himself in contention for Ryanair, of course, had the ground not gone against him. So at the two of the last three, as Graeme quite rightly said, have gone on to win the Ascot Chase. Who's the horse in the pack that could do this? Fanian, I suppose.
Yeah,
and
Fanian.
he's in the...
Well,
so he's the worry.
as long as he runs well, Fanny, and Destraval, he surely turns up in the Ascot Chase.
If he wins, he surely turns
that's right.
up.
Well, if he went, definitely, because, Royal Pagai's won the Peter Marsh narrowly, we'll say. It was half a length, 3/4 of a length, and he's quoted at 16s for a Gold Cup. So a horse like this wins off 159.
Are we surprised that Killer Clown's not a bit shorter? Because it was ground he didn't like last time in Canton.
So
he
they
got
say.
it all right again.
So they say.
Oh, okay. This is one of yours.
How can you tell me a horse that did what he did last time doesn't like
it? Okay, all right. Let me reword that because you are right, but that is what they said. We don't want the heavens to open. It was horrible ground.
You always believe what a horse does over what his connections say.
But his optimal ground, they believe, is what he faced at Kempton on that Boxing Day.
I think he wants 2 miles. I think he wants 2 miles 6 as well. So the longer trip will be in his favour. I think this horse still wants to stay a little bit.
Yeah. What's he gone up? He's gone up £7. He's got a
the
few
race
more
fell
pounds
apart a little bit. There's only 6 runners, wasn't there?
Slate House coming back as well, wasn't it?
Slate House was very well handicapped, but didn't really go through with it. The Nichols horse wasn't fit.
I spoke to Keels about this chap as well yesterday, and he said, is this going to make a clown of us all by going in again when we've jumped off the bandwagon now and he could have 2 1s next to his name. I'm a bit surprised he's, as big as he is. Golden Whiskey came back to form last time at Chepstow. Tricky horse to get right.
He is a little bit. I noted him after the run before Chepstow, but he was weak in the market for Chepstow, so I didn't bother backing him, even though he was like a tracker horse for me. But I thought the way that race went relatively well for him. When You're Ready would have won had it been at a more galloping track than a track with a less downhill.
Horse, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting horse, that When You're Ready. For me.
I agree.
Golden Whiskey, I think that was his day potentially.
There's money around for Larry. This is the sort of race that Gary Moore wins.
Gary Moore,
like Larry,
Gary Moore, he could run the hack with me, you, and Keith on it at the moment, and we'd go close. Everything he's running at the moment that's half fancied is nearly winning. He's in brilliant form.
But
yeah.
This is exactly with Larry.
Goshen tomorrow.
I absolutely get it with Larry turning up, and he might just pop up. But he's already done that this season, hasn't he?
He's course and distance winner, of course.
He has already popped up.
Yeah, but the fact he's 20 to 1, I see what you're saying, G. This is a very, very good handicap, and unfortunately, Mordor is out, unless, of course, you want to play on the exchange where you get the places. Right.
This is mental.
Should we just have a tiny pause for breath for this race, because they're down at the start, they're ambling around a little bit, and they're going to be maybe a minute or two off. There's a bit of balance coming back for you, by the way, about the John Bond thing. A lot of mud thrown. I'm not going to lie. Thank God you got those goggles on, because there have been a lot of tomatoes. But Tom Lewis, Jack Reeves is sending me these through. There are people out there going absolutely right. Because of Constitution Hill, I think people are like, that's not going to be Constitution Hill. Tom Lewis said, couldn't be more right. And I've got some quotes actually coming through at last.
It's quite easy to see.
Henderson said, job done. I like horses that quicken twice, but he looked like he was in some trouble.
Okay, did he quicken twice?
Well, that's...
Or did the other one just stop?
Don't shoot the messenger, all right?
You got your stopwatch on you today, G?
I don't know, we have to find out. On Monday.
Instead of going to the Thirsty Bear after this, our local pub, we're going to be... This is what we do.
We're going to be
This is what we do. But Aidan Coleman said it's a very good race on a quick track, and I got there quite comfortable. I was in top gear, which is, I think, the key line. But we were always going to go away at the back of the last. He pulled up a bit inside the final furlong, which happens a lot here at Haydock.
Happens a lot when you're riding a horse like him.
He got a bit lonely for the track. Wait, they're going to in the Supreme, aren't they?
God in heaven, that's going to be terrible.
What, watching him? You're not watching Archibald, are you? God,
Well,
what are you insinuating, man?
Jaw.
So look, it's caused a lot of debate. Who knew that on Clarence House Day? John Bond, we thought we were going to serve up a treat. The undercard, so far, hasn't it been absolutely sterling? And it's just about to get better. We are 40 minutes away from the biggie. We will, after Yara Enki has his procession race at Taunton. Ryan McCue might disagree with that, having looked at the selections. But we'll get the socials in.
We'll talk about the Taunton race later, but yeah, we'll
Yeah, well, should it be on television? Well, look,
yes.
We all love Yara Enki. You say yes? Mm-hmm. All right. You think there should be more build-up to the race?
Yala
We've stuck in a Taunton race.
I mean, it's not ideal. It's a 3.5 mile race just before
That's
the
what I
Clarence
mean.
House.
That's what I mean.
Why not make it a 240? Why not change things round?
Over Christmas, we had Welsh National preceded by a Paddy Power, didn't we? That sort of thing. It was a nightmare. So anyway, look.
We should be more fluid about the times of races.
Let's get back to our lovely horses, and away we go then. And what's going to take them along then here? We're expecting always a bit of pace on, but Night in Dubai fancies a bit of it under Harry Skelton. Golden Whiskey pulling his way into contention as well. Over the first we go.
This is what we expected to see.
All fine.
We expected Golden Whiskey up there. We expected to see Night in Dubai up there.
Unlike Palmer's Hill and Phoenix Way, who sits out the back. Interesting that Lucy Turner has got Fanny and Destraval right on the outside.
No surprise at all.
That.
This horse needs to see its fences because it's clumsy as hell.
And it might potentially be better going left-handed, mightn't it? According to the form book so
Steve
far.
Mason said something else really interesting to me the other day. He says there's horses, everything jumps left at Ascot and they do it nowhere else. And he's right.
Well, Altior used to do it all the time.
I've seen loads of horses that jump left at Ascot and don't jump left at any other right-handed tracks. It's quite strange.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that. Larry's already been chivied along in the first-time cheek piece, but this is Gary Moore. He could fall out the back of Telly and still nearly win the form that Gary's
There's a lot of open ground to the left on the Ascot run here. Look at this one. There's so much open ground on your left. There's the hurdles track and the flat track.
It is my favourite jumps course.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
Never
it's because I'm nearer to Newbury.
You are actually. I've just seen. I know where you are now.
Listen. I'm a Buckinghamshire lad. I've got the luxury.
Knock on your door.
Grade 1 courses everywhere. Jumping back to Windsor, please, if you're listening out there, BHA. That would be lovely. Yeah. And okay, all right. So, what sort of pace are we going here, Graeme Rodway?
I think they're going sedate. I don't think they're going too fast at all, which is slightly worrying. Because
he's trying to do a dash or drasher on Night in Dubai, and he just get out and lead and stay there.
Well, what he's going to do, he's probably going to I don't think he's going too hard here. He's just making sure he's in front. He's making sure he's in control by the time they run down towards Swinley Bottom.
All right, let's go to Ryan McCue. Home straight for the first time, as we were, or a spike?
Yeah, well, Night in Dubai was well backed prior to the off. 3.6 was the BSP. He's into around 3.2 now. And interesting, Harry Skelton has took the ball by the horns and gone on Night in Dubai. He's jumping really well in front, in fairness. Fanny and Destraval is the drifter in running. He's sitting in third at the moment, but is out to 6.2. Palmer's Hill is 3-1, who's been held up along with Phoenix Way, who's into 6.2, a little bit short on what he went off as well. But Night in Dubai is in a lovely rhythm in front at the moment. He's around 3.4, so just under 5-2 in running.
Good old Harry Skelton riding one into the last on the first circuit.
Oh yeah, he can't help it. Actually, looking at Night in Dubai, I must admit he's not a horse I've ever really been. He's been so lightly raced, and he looks a beautiful horse, isn't he?
He's flat,
lovely.
He's flat bred, and he's
beautiful barreled horse, and he's got a wild chest on him.
Yeah, he's bred for the flat, so he's not that big.
He's a really good-looking horse, and you're right, they're not going fast, G-Rod, as we go.
But this is the key bit. Keep watching this. This is the downhill run. This is the bit at Ascot where you can really move and make a tactical gain, and we'll see what he does.
To be there today. Of course, you can take us with you on Race Post Live. Let us know where you're going to watch the Clarence House as well. 3:35. It's the Clash of the Titans. Just seen a great quote on the chat box, and the Terminator says, "Go on, Larry, shut that door." Fantastic comment out there. Keep them coming. All right, Golden Whiskey had a belt of that one. This is the downhill. Good camera work here. You can see that, can't you?
Yeah.
Don't often see it at Ascot.
By the way,
how's he jumping?
Totally wrong about Night in Dubai's pedigree, by the way. He's happened at the back in front.
There you go. Yeah, bred for the flat. Yeah. All right. Killer Clown giving up the outside to no one now. Phoenix Way going nicely. Out the back.
He's jumped really well, Phoenix Way, but I'm not sure he's going that well. But we'll see.
He's a very, very talented horse. Of course, he was way off Fanny and Destraval. Well, he's a horse that can blow hot and cold, and Harry Fry is coming back into some royal form.
Lucy Turner's using the downhill run to get Fanny and Destraval prominent.
Yeah, they sort of did. I mean, Charlie Deutsch did this a little bit at Newbury, kicked on a bit with him. Didn't he? Golden Whiskey's not jumping very well all of a sudden.
Yeah, your tactics might be good. But
what about Palmer's Hill? Because he's hat-trick seeking, he's JP, he's John Joe. He's sort of on and off the bridle.
He finished really strongly last time over 2-3.
Is he just taking the mickey a little bit? I think he's got a finish in this horse.
I think he's going well now. I'm starting to get excited for 2 in a row, Dave.
And they are all right. The four-timer's on, whatever the four-timer is.
Well, isn't he, Phoenix Way?
Yeah, Killer Clown's going well as well. This is a right old race, this. These horses could, all go and win Saturday races.
If Golden Whiskey and Larry start going backwards, though, he's going to have to go round horses to get competitive, which might be the problem.
It wasn't great there, Palmer's Hill. Just notice that. And again, John Joe O'Neill Jr. getting lower in the saddle.
I'll tell you what, this is how to ride Ascot from Lucy Turner.
Yeah, she's again.
Come on, Phoenix.
She does get them jumping, this girl, and she's attacking now on this. But Night in Dubai. So the two market leaders are head-to-head about
Golden
5 out.
Whiskey's come back on
the
bet.
Yeah, he made a couple of Horlicks errors, but it's Adam Wedge. He makes him look so good, doesn't he, Adam? Phoenix Way's coming into it. Is anything out of this? Even Larry is not shutting that door yet. Killer Clown, maybe the first one to crack.
Yeah, you wouldn't want anything at 1,000, would you?
3 out then, here we go.
Come on,
Here we
Killer
go.
Clown.
Harry
Killer
now
Clown's
rows
gone.
away. If you're on the
Killer
market,
Clown's
look at
gone.
Phoenix
Come on,
way. Come
Phoenix.
on, the Phoenix. Kevin Brogan claiming 3. Leading condition out there. Now, this should be his, but has he got the classy runner ahead of him?
I think he's been outridden.
Lisa, you think that Lucy Turner's got him? Look, he's not even moved a muscle, Kevin Brogan. He's got to rely on the
Must
classy
be very,
family
very
coming back.
confident.
He's very confident.
There's a
He
lot of
hasn't
weight
moved.
between them, isn't there, of
Come
course?
on,
Top
Phoenix.
weight. What's
Pick him
Phoenix
up.
got? Is he a horse that likes to go through the
Go,
pain
Lucy.
barrier? 2 out then. Good jump by Fanion. Yeah, I think you might be right,
Come on,
Keith.
Phoenix.
This could be a
Come
dash
on.
of Drescher. Come on, Phoenix.
Come on.
This is the clash of the Titans.
Come on, Phoenix.
The betting
Pick him
editor
up.
versus the assistant betting editor. It looks
Come
like the
on.
insufferable rationalist
him up.
might come out on top.
Come on, good
All
one.
on the
Jump,
last.
jump.
Oh, they're both
Come
over in
on,
fine.
Phoenix.
Come on, the Phoenix.
Come on,
He's
Phoenix.
taking flight. Fanny and Deschamel on the inside. It's a peach
Beautiful.
from Kevin Brogan. The unanimous bench has come out on top for once here on Racing Post Live. And we've given the betting editor a bloody nose. If you're on Fanny and Deschamel, a run for your life in second. They've come well clear of Larry, who was never really going but was running for third. Ryan McCue, well done to you.
Yeah, I think a few of us fancy that in fairness. It was a really, really good ride by Kevin Brogan. Sitting and waiting. Lucy Turner done nothing wrong on the second. She kicked off the bend, turning for home. It looked like she might have had it in the bag. 1.35 was the in-running low for Fanny and Destraval. But a really, really good ride by Kevin Brogan. I don't think he hit the horse. I don't think he probably responds to being hit too well because he generally finds not much off the bridle. Hands and heels after the last. Was long at the last. Landed with running, though, I think was the key. And picked Fanny and Destraval up. It was a huge run from the second, in fairness, off a mark of 159. Obviously, Lucy Turner took off to £7. But Kevin Brogan, before the race, we mentioned he was a rider going places, a really good conditional. And he gave that a brilliant ride, Phoenix Way. Travelled really well and jumped really well in the main. And never hit it bigger. 9.4 was the high he hit, Phoenix Way. He BSP at 8.6. But coming to the last, all we needed was a jump to seal the deal. And that's what he got. A really good ride by Kevin Brogan.
Well done, Ryan. Absolutely. So that was actually, and fair play, Keith, because he very nearly gave the weight away there. I'll come back to Fanny in a minute.
It's not Fanny. I didn't back him. I just wanted to see Lucy Turner's ride get the rewards.
She's given him a peach.
I think
hasn't she?
they're different sort of rides. I think the more tactically brilliant ride in that race was Lucy Turner's, even though she's got beat. Kevin Brogan's ride was very skillful. You know, he's nursed a sort of slightly funny horse into it off a strong pace. But it turns out that horse has got loads in hand and he was on the best. If you'd had that race absolutely plotted out in terms of who was a better handicapped, he wins that by much further than he has. Lucy Turner's maximised her horse more than Brogan has.
She gets horses jumping, Lucy Turner. We'll come back to it. A nod to our feature shows and postcasts and all that sort of thing. I think there was unanimous across the board that horse. So fair play to everyone out there. I told you you'd learn something from me one day. Look, it just the Orton shine rubs off on anyone eventually. But fair play to you, G. You're the double. You're on the hat trick. What's the hat trick? We're waiting to hear.
It's Yarlenki.
Yeah.
Yarlenki. Is it Yarlenki
We could
next?
have a four-timer.
The
Yarlenki.
four-timer's on. You cannot keep a good man down. I'll tell you what, you can tell we're getting excited in here now for the Clarence House. That was ramp it up time. A word for Kevin Brogan. He's a talented operator. When JP and John Joe get hold of these young, talented conditionals from Ireland, they're usually the bee's knees, aren't they? So let's see. Hope he keeps his head in the right place and keeps going, because we're talking about one of the future stars there, aren't we?
Yeah, potentially, yes. He did. He rode. We talked about the Golden Whiskey form, and he rode the When You're Ready when he won it.
Yes.
Shepstone. It was a clever ride that day. He seems to be very good at these sort of hold-up rides.
Ben Pauling likes him a great deal.
Does he?
Speaks extremely highly of him. Yeah,
He does. He seems to excel. He's it's the old Timmy Murphy type rides he excels in, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
So we'll see how he gets on. I mean, until a jockey can do it from the front, they're not a jockey I'm going to really get excited about. But he's clearly a really talented boy.
Yeah, good, strong form that. And Fanny and Destraval, word about him. He's nowhere near out of place in an Ascot Chase after that
That's
one.
where he goes, surely, isn't it?
But it's whether he's good enough to beat a top notcher there. I think he's proven himself to be a top Grade 2 horse there, periphery Grade 1-ish.
It's a shame there's not really a 2.5 mile left-handed Grade 2 for him, is there?
Quelle surprise. There's the intermediate trip again, isn't it?
Well,
there is a
but
problem.
What I'm saying is,
with
if you
this.
want to go right, you've got the Peterborough, you've got all those races at Ascot.
As long as it's at Huntingdon, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That's the
but
other thing.
this horse probably would be a bit better going left. and he doesn't get that opportunity.
This is the problem. It's got Allaho faces in Ireland as well. You've got the Thurles race. Is that coming up soon, isn't it? It's the horse and jockey race or whatever it is. He's only got one opportunity. It's a John Durkin, and then that's it. That's pretty much it. There is still a problem.
But we don't want too many races on the other
No, we
side
don't.
of
We
the
don't.
argument,
But you've got to
because
put maybe even handicaps. Then
you
they should
end up
have.
with all this,
I don't know.
the
Should we have some more
avoidance.
top 2 more 4 handicaps then? They certainly need them in Ireland.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we were talking about races and race planning and racing.
You are right. You are right.
And then the Clarence House was one of the races in the crosshairs, wasn't it? Of the new. They were saying, "Oh, we'll turn this into a handicap," and then it provides this race today.
Hey, I tell you what. Here's another line as well. Do you think that Mullins and Hendo have got on the phone together and gone, they're talking about making this a bloody handicap? Well, let's get our best horses and running it. They'll never do it then.
I think Henderson might have had that in mind.
Yeah,
I don't think
well-
Mullins would have given much either way, really.
I don't know.
Sprinter Sacra on the TV.
Yes,
All
he's
right.
at Taunton today, isn't he? He's parading at Taunton.
Is there ever a better looking horse in history than Sprint Sacre?
He's one of the best of all time.
Black Beauty, yeah.
He is the best.
absolutely.
He is probably the most talented horse I've ever seen.
Yeah, without question.
Jumper, most
Without
talented jumper
question.
I've
He was
ever
one that I somehow got right as well. It was one of my most satisfying analysis I've ever written. Was I did that Supreme.
Yeah.
The Alpha off Spirit Son, and I said he will be the best of these.
Where-
Just somehow got it
Whispered
right for
it,
once.
but
Broken cock and all that.
it was actually a pretty ordinary ride from McCue. That.
He was keen as he liked, wasn't he? He was far too keen, yeah.
Yeah.
Not saying that AP couldn't settle him. Can I give you a word from McMenamin and Hamilton's about Tommy Oscar?
Yeah.
It was a hard race to watch for a while, said Anna Hamilton. There's a
bet,
turning
yeah.
around the bottom. But Tommy's and Danny's started to stay on it, and he got a bit easy. He's a lovely horse. He tries his best, so it's great. We are tempted. We've got to have a go. I think.
Go for it. Yeah.
You've got to go for it, Anne.
Yeah, go for it, because
Yeah.
you've always got the entry hurdle if it doesn't quite come off, you know?
Yeah, well, there you are, absolutely.
What's this argument? What's this argument that we saw from Nichols about? Was it Brave Man's Game? He said no. It was the horse he didn't enter in the Gold Cup. Frodon.
Yes.
Yeah, and Clan.
He said we won't.
Wow,
we won't go to Cheltenham and have a hard race because it would take us a month before to get ready and a
That
month
got DJ's back up, that, didn't it?
afterwards to recover. But yet horses like Tommy's Oscar can just keep churning it out.
Frodon should
What
have-
is he
yeah.
doing differently?
Well, it's the horses as well. Frodon would take his racing. Frodon should have been in the Ryanair, but not the Gold Cup, is my opinion on that one.
I suppose, now...
Why would you run in the Gold Cup? He doesn't
Now, he's
stay.
won first time out, hasn't he? And Nichols knows he can get him proper where he wants him after a break. And that's probably what he's thinking for the future.
He does
going
not
forward.
stay the Gold Cup trip. We saw that last year.
Yeah, because he has to sort of...
But the
pretty much
Ryan,
lead,
why
doesn't
would
he?
you not give him just an entry in the Ryanair?
All right.
I would have done that.
Let's go to Taunton. Let's go down to the West Country. Who fancies it? Because it is Yalarenki time. We did this last year because there were a couple of abandonments. And the Portman Cup chase came on. Ryan McCue, 3:15. We all like him. You don't?
Not at the price, Dave. I think he's worth taking on at the price. 1.76 to lay. So if you wouldn't mind, Keith, put in a 50 quid lay on Yala Enki. He won the race last year, obviously, beating Knife to Cap Fits, but he's a headbanger over fences. The race was strangely run last year. If the Cap Fits looked like he had Yala Enki in trouble before he fought back to win. But I think this year it's a little bit different. Fullback's only a 7-year-old. I think he's a real decent horse on his day, to be fair. He won at Cheltenham last time, beating the Wolf. The bottom horse, Ramsey's Italia, if you forgive his run in the Welsh National, if he reproduced his run prior to that at Haydock, he'd have a big chance here too. An Elegant Escape on his back form is not a bad horse, even though I would be surprised if he won, to be fair. But I just think out around 8 to 11, just bigger than 8 to 11, Yala Enki. I think he's worth taking on at the price. I don't think you're in an agreement with me, but it's pure a price thing. I thought he should be around maybe evens or 11 to 10. And just the fact he's 1.76, 1.75 to lay, I'll happily take him on at that price.
I don't often tell people to smash into odds on Ryan and guys, but if this doesn't win at 8 to 11, I'm
Well, it's his cup final as well, isn't it? We know that. Nichols tells you.
And I put him up at Cheltenham when they thought the ground was going to be too lively for him.
Good ride.
It's just everything you love about horse racing in that race. He looked vulnerable off the home bend. He just kept finding.
But she got a really harsh ban for that.
Yeah.
Because I suspect
It was a kitchen sink job.
Brian Hughes came in and moaned about her cutting him up a little bit. And because he's a senior rider, he got listened to. It was my guess.
All right. Apparently, Matty Batch is watching this. Hey, here we go.
Matty Batch,
Getting involved. 2 good rides from 2 young jockeys,
Yeah,
Kevin Brogan and Lucy Turner.
2 really good rides, actually. And
Yeah.
I
Think Batch has been coaching, or
he must
leaves
be on
that to
commission.
Posty these days? If there's no commission, Batch ain't involved.
There is, yeah, exactly. There's always an angle with Batch, isn't there? He must have something there.
Yeah, there is.
But no, he's absolutely right. There were two. they were two excellent rides. The fact those two horses have come so far clear isn't because it's exceptionally strong form, isn't because those horses are miles ahead of their marks. It's because those two horses got great rides.
Hugh Masson replies to Matty Batch in the chat box and says, very much so, Batch. Not winning a derby today. He's probably in Sharjah or somewhere, isn't he? I don't know, Mongolia or something like that. Yeah, all right, great fun.
Enzo will be out in the Saudi soon, won't he?
Heard from Enzo. He WhatsApped me a minute ago saying, the Pagai. So, he's been very quiet, but by that, he will be out in Saudi, of course, because it's his horse, the Shriff. Comes back, of course. Yeah,
he loves that horse.
Get on your third Maidan. I missed that.
I missed that, yeah.
Oh, so we don't know. No, he's like, what?
Yes,
there is ramping up in Maidan, if you like that. Okay, all right. So Phoenix Way, you're on the hat trick. Is it going to be Yalarenki? Simple.
Yeah, Yalarenki all the way.
Do you remember last year? I think this is a weaker race than when he won it last year.
Yeah, he's better.
He had If the Cat Fits, didn't he, in it?
This
probably didn't stay that.
It's the race, isn't it?
Probably didn't stay that day.
Nichols says in his stable tour, he gives you like the one race that each of his
horses
is going to win. And
this
he
is
says
the day.
This is the Yalarenki race.
You know Lorney Hill,
Yeah.
the trainer Alan Hill, her husband, who's
Point Supremo, isn't
Point Supremo, my local point. He gives you a milk bottle horse. That's what he used to call it. So at Cottenham or wherever it is, they have the first meeting of the year, and he tells you at all these. They go to these like pubs and the preview. Whenever you see Alan, he goes, put a £5 each week in your milk bottle, and the horse I run in this race and the opening race at Cottenham, that's your milk bottle horse. That's basically what Nichols has done with Yalarenki.
This is a milk bottle horse.
This is a milk bottle horse. A £5 in the milk bottle. If you listen to the stable tours, this is the one race that Paul Nichols says you can pick up money.
And he doesn't get many wrong.
He doesn't, does he? And Yala he walked through the fourth last year and still won.
Yeah, this is the thing. I was desperate to get against it because everything about Yalarenki says 3.5 miles, well, that's good, but a tight right-handed track shouldn't be his sort of game. But he loves it round here. He gets him ready for it every year. I was desperate to get against him, but I can't. Full back, look, I love his form. But the race he won at Cheltenham on New Year's Day, he won his race off £18 lower than what Yalarenki won his race off.
There's £20 between them on official ratings, and yet Yala's given him 4. Why on earth is he so short?
Well, this is the thing with this race, is that because of the way they're dropping these exposed horses now, the BHA, this should be a handicap, no question. Turn this into a handicap next year. The reason Yalarenki runs in it is because he's a 159, 160 horse.
This really ought to be just complete gift horse stuff, shouldn't it?
It is, and it should just be a handicap because you'd get other, if fullback would relish getting £20 off Yalarenki, he'd beat him.
I suppose you might be factoring in the fact, we've said it already on the show, they do well to find domestically a stable in better nick at the moment than Gary Moore's. And fullback is a horse that I think they thought he was like an old Hennessy type horse. When
he's an unexposed horse. He shaped quite well in the Hennessy actually, and then it was a bit of a funny run at Cheltenham. I don't think it was a good race by Cheltenham standards, but he
beat the Wolf, didn't he? Who looked beat and then came back, and Ollie Murphy's horse and Smooth Stepper, probably horses that Big Nasty. It's a weak race by Cheltenham.
Yeah, exactly. Wolf wore the fourth last and the third last, and
he tends to do that. The Wolf
didn't get a good a ride as
Ramsey's Detaye for the pipes.
Tell you what, the one horse that's not been dropped as fast as he should have this year for me.
Ramsey's.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think? Oh, there's probably the handicapper probably knows.
The pipes are probably wanting. If seen the way they've treated horses this year, the 3 races he's run this year, I would have hoped he'd gone down at least half a stone. But he's not. He's only gone down £3.
Yeah, all right. And what about Elegant Escape? Kills was very hopeful of a decent return to form in the Welsh National. Didn't happen.
No, and is Taunton going to suit him any better? He's even slower than Yalarenki.
Coup de Panso, former Nichols horse. No chance.
Just not good enough, is he? This is the thing, because Yalarenki is a high-class plodder, he's just going to win this. Whereas if you turn this race into a handicap tomorrow, it becomes a much, much better race. It starts probably... it starts eating the Grand National Trials lunch and things like that because it's a very valuable race.
Yeah.
But this needs handicap. The BHA are now bringing down these exposed horses quick enough. This should be a handicap.
It's great to see Taunton having a terrestrial TV race, but whether it should, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. We're very quickly on the back of now Clarence House.
But let's not forget, having already put the boot into ITV already once today, that they probably, when they did the scheduling, didn't know that Shishkin and Nurjmin were going to both turn up, would you say?
I don't think this was on the original free-to-air races at the start of the week.
Right, so you think they added it in?
I do.
Well, that was a bad
I do. But then again, maybe Ed will come on and say
what they should do is
it
should be far more fluid with the actual times of races. Like the Taunton race maybe should have been, earlier. So
Yeah,
we've
because we
got
could have
that.
had it in there.
We can. ITV should maybe start to look, lads. Can we just move times around to suit us? Because I think it's right this race is on the telly, but a 3.5 mile race that'll take the best part of 10 minutes to run, and then you've only got 10 minutes build up to the big race. This race should be on the telly, but should it be at 3:15?
All right, okay.
I'll tell you what,
Contentious
though,
points.
after the cases that we've just made for Yalenki, then we must wish Ryan best of luck with his lay.
Because he's the only one
the
out
only
there
one here
in
who-
racing land
who thinks
taking
that
it
this
on.
is going to get beat.
Ryan McCue, and are they listening to you?
Yeah, I like to swim against the tide the odd time, lads. 176 Yala Enki just on the jump there. He jumped up first well in front. He leads full back early on. Not much change, obviously, early on, but he's 1.74. That's what he went off. So in and around what we laid him at Yala Enki.
All right, okay. Here we are then. All right, fine.
She's off in front.
We are off and
She's
running.
got to be.
Fair play to Ryan. So you probably won't want to see him getting a lead. You want something, yeah, just off. Just simple, isn't it? Just crack on. You're the best horse in the race. You stay the best. Just crack on. And Bryony in front.
If you're riding Yalenki to pounce, you don't understand Yalenki. You've never heard of Yalenki.
Yeah.
So this is what she does.
Yeah, of course. It was a left in lead, wasn't it, for fullback 5 out at Cheltenham.
Yeah, that Venetia thing that didn't run that well at Wincanton in the week. It was still going well, and Captain Tommy got wiped out, and he would have run well that race, I think.
It's just funny, isn't it? But we did give him a 143 for that, so
He's a well-handicapped horse. He really is. I think he's a bit funny. You know?
Destiny Royale, of course.
He used to race freely, and then he was on and off the bridle at Cheltenham. He just looks like a funny old horse to me. He's talented, but he would, in a handicap, be getting about £15 from Yalenki here, and he's getting 4. So you just can't be.
It was only 2 years ago that Ramsey Detaya was being talked about in Albert Bartlett terms.
Well, that was the
Crazy year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They campaigned him that year in a certain way, didn't they? We ran into Monkfish and Time Hill. And
then they tried to make him into a national horse. He just doesn't like national fences, I seem to remember.
I don't think so. And he's
they're looking for another one, of course, because the Vieux Lion Rouge has gone up to
the
pastures.
old Red Lion, good old Red Lion.
He was marvellous,
What a
wasn't
lovely
he?
horse he was. Proper
chestnut.
cult hero.
Oh, is that
That
why
jumps
he's
the
got
best.
called Little Red Lion?
Yes, absolutely. We've
Okay,
got social
great.
on the screen through this. Melrose does talk sense. Melrose.
When?
This is the guy that said about the Larry.
That's debatable.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to citation needed.
Well, listen, don't forget they got the head-to-head, so one bubble's going to burst, not on the track, but also in here, the mighty, the two of the best we've got for you on the panels.
You're pleased as punch,
The
aren't you?
Terminator is the fan.
If you're on Bryony and Yalenki, you're pleased as punch here.
You wouldn't want to give him a losing tip.
exactly
to
right.
Terminator,
how many
would you?
more laps have we got here? It'd be as many as a Monaco Grand Prix, haven't they?
But they're gifting this, aren't they, Ryan? I
Yeah,
mean,
this
what
is
price has
easy,
he got
isn't it?
now?
Yeah, 1.61 Yala Enki. They have looked to give Bronny Frost an easy enough lead, it has to be said. But when you look at the likes of Elegant Escape, I don't know if he's able to keep up with it, to be fair, in third. Ramsey Sataya is travelling okay in fourth. But 1.66 now, Yala Enki, and getting shorter all the time. Bronny Frost looks to be dictating the race, but there is a long way to go.
You want to goad Bryony Frost into going too slow, if you're those jockeys, for me.
This is a hunt for Bryony, isn't it? This is what you call. Some people get a bit annoyed by that, not just because of the fraternity. You hunt a horse round, but this is quite literally what she's doing.
It's what Freddie
She
Murphy
could be
used to-
jumping gates here. Well, exactly.
It's what Freddie Murphy used to
But
do
she's
when he had
doing
her
it in
on trial.
front. That's what I mean. She's just, and now fullback is starting to apply a little bit of pressure at least. Coup de Panzo right at the back, no interest whatsoever.
There's any injection of pace has got Elegant Escape off the bridle.
I mean, if they are trying to get a horse down the handicap, surely it's Ramsey's to tie.
Oh, they are, because he should. Honestly, I think I'd feel hard done by if I was his owners. He should have come down faster this year, the way they've been treating other horses.
Yeah.
She's great at this, though, isn't she, Bryony?
Yes.
Out in front, she's getting her own way. She'll pace this right.
We
She
saw
always
it in
does.
no better terms than in the King George under Frodon. That's why Frodon was
mistake
sponsored.
there.
That
What
was
you
the
do-
fence he hated last year.
Yeah, if you're Niall Houlihan on fullback, well, you want Bryony to do what she wants and then go, well, how's your luck? Because I think my horse is faster than you.
He's having a really good season as well, isn't he, Niall Houlihan?
Good rider.
Yeah,
really good rider.
He's not just for Gary either. Some outside rides he's shown Nelson.
He had a couple of good Saturday winners. Editor de Gite winning at the Open meeting.
That's his flagship horse at the moment, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and he can just about hold that horse. So he must be quite strong.
We've got Goshen tomorrow, of course, at Lingfield.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Oh my Goshen.
Remember that?
Yeah, well, of course, absolutely. We coined the phrase. Didn't
wasn't
we?
oh my Goshen that Bruce said.
Bruce, oh my Goshen
It
Millington.
wasn't oh my gosh,
Yeah.
he said.
Bruce will be back. I'm delighted to tell you for the Cheltenham Festival here with us here on live as well. Loads of you asked me that question. Where's Bruce? Where's Bruce? I think he's in
Are
Broadstairs
we
today.
on the second last circuit now?
Yes,
It's hard to know, isn't it?
Lap to go. Good job
Oh,
by
isn't
Yala.
it? That third last fence,
It's one
as
of,
we
the
call
hardest,
it.
one of the worst fences in the country.
Jockeys can't stand it, and fullback nearly ate it.
It's got all the ingredients of a really tough fence. It comes
off
off a
the
bend.
bend.
It's about 12 strides off a bend, at a tight track. It's very
How many horses
very
have you
slightly
written
downhill
about
as
at
well.
Taunton that do that and they're going cruising and then they lose the race there?
It's not as crucial a fence because it's earlier in the circuit.
They've also got a path,
Compton's the same.
haven't they, as well? They used to on the
Yes,
running.
yeah.
Used to see horses that you could be like, I've got it, and then you just
Yeah,
There it is.
Leglock Luke.
There it
Remember
is.
Leglock Luke.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah,
horse.
of course, Leglock Luke. I've seen loads of
Threw
horses
it
do it over
away.
the years. All right, so Yala Enki out in front. Let's go back to Ryan. Then he's drifted out a little bit, I suppose, because of the pressure from the younger fullback.
Yeah, it was matched at around 11 to 10 down the back straight, Dave. And I think you made a good point. They were the fences last year that Yala Enki had a little bit of trouble with before dominating the race in the end. 1.65 though, so strengthening up again after them few little slight mistakes, I suppose, down the back. Fullback was into around 6 to 4, back out to 5 to 2. But it'll remain interesting to see whether the other three, who have been quiet enough in the race so far, can land a blow. Elegant Escape is in third, of course. He's into around, he's out to 20, I should say. Ramsey Satoye is out 11.5. But Yala Enki, Bronny Frost still controlling the race from the front at around 1.75.
You don't need You don't need your stopwatch for this race. You can tell how fast they're going by how comfortable Elegant Escape
Now,
is.
if you're Niall Houlihan,
Never been confident.
if you're Niall Houlihan, right, and he gets in short occasionally, Yala, doesn't he? But again, as we saw at Cheltenham, you don't really want to eyeball him. I don't know. If you're a punter and you back fullback, you're like, well, go past him, disappoint him.
No. What you want to do is as I said earlier, you want to goad Brian into going too slow. You want to be upsides 3 out and then go, well, I'm faster than you.
And
so
then
see
ping,
you later.
ping.
Yeah.
Well, Ramsey's is coming a little bit. Elegant Escape. This will be it's a bit of an acid test, this, for Elegant Escape, of course.
Oh, he's
Got a
right
bit
at
loaded,
it
Jan.
now, Yarlo,
But
isn't he?
he's
Get
good
reminders.
I wouldn't be surprised
Don't
that
worry
fullback travels
about it.
better.
She just needs to keep him in the hunt. Right, I think this is 5 out. I'm going to say this is 5
I
out.
think there might be one
Second
more.
last out the back, isn't
That's
it?
5 out.
Yeah.
Okay, I've managed to get one right. And this is,
flown that.
this time last year,
Here we go.
this is where Yala hit the spike on Betfair. And he's got fullback in trouble all of a
It's 4
sudden.
out. It's 4 out. He's only got 3 to jump.
That was 4 out. That was the fence then. Look, and Yala's just gone.
all over
This
now.
is what he does. We're watching equine poetry in motion here. This is an absolute war.
I'm glad you agree.
Elegant Escape.
on,
Elegant
Elegant
Escape
Escape's
is not
running on
totally
there.
out of it.
Well, this
But
is the
again,
thing. If Brandy
here
goes too
comes that
soon,
tricky fence. Fullback's been broken, but has Yala Enki been softened up for a closer?
Don't think so.
Elegant Escape, probably running through the pain barrier a little bit. If he pings this, it's probably good night Vienna for the rest. And he's absolutely
Good jump,
winged it,
good
Yala.
jump.
Elegant Escape didn't fancy it at all. Fullback out on his shield. Just needs to pop the last 2. Heart and mouth time, then up we go.
Yeah,
Nice
easy,
and
easy,
simple.
easy.
He's so economical, isn't he, when he's right? He's
She's
not
just
big
keeping him
at
up-
all,
she's just
Yala
keeping him
Enki.
up to
He's
speed.
dossing a bit. He's thinking about the path.
Yeah, his ears are going.
Elegant Escape is not out of this, look. He's
flying
absolutely
home,
tanking.
Poppage, she says.
Go on, over you
Flying
go.
home.
Come on, Bryony, keep pushing. He's just dossed and then given the chance. Look,
that's how you keep it
the
simple.
milk bottle horse has prevailed.
there you
All right, you read the stable tours and the big jump off next year. Paul Nichols will somewhere in there give you your milk bottle
But it's,
horse.
the same,
Hats
it's
off.
a similar strain to what we talked about with the Surname Altior thing. When there is a target, Nichols is telling you, he's got no side to him, he's not a punting yard in any sense. He just says, look, this horse is getting fit for this race. And he did that with Yala Enki in this race. He's the best horse by 20 pounds. And that's exactly what that race went like, because fullback didn't crack for stamina. He's only been beat 3-4 lengths. He's run really well.
Yeah.
But Yala Enki is 20 pounds better than him, or maybe a stone better than him in reality. And that's the conditions of this race just suit Yala Enki so well.
You could go on about that for an hour, but we're going to have to save it for the pub afterwards, I'm afraid, because we are now less than 10 minutes away from the biggie. Ryan, what was the Betfair SP in the end of the Great Yala Enki?
Yeah, 1.76. They'll probably name the race after him, in fairness. 2.56 was the biggest he went in running. Odds on fullback hit, surprisingly, 1.96 and 4.5 Elegant Escape. I think punters might have thought in running that they might have cut each other's throats up front, but that wasn't the case. And Yala Enki, pretty straightforward in the end, similar enough to last year. I got that one wrong, but hopefully we can get it right in the next at Ascot, the big clash.
Well, you can take the floor, my man. It is the big one then. It is the clash of the times. I've been calling it. Arlie Fraser, the rumble in the jungle. Are you yellow corner? Are you blue? Let's get some social stuff. But after Ryan McCue, have you found a bet yet in the race, Ryan?
Yeah, I've been looking around the last 10 or 15 minutes. I think for me, obviously, I think Shishkin will win the race. I'm not putting him up as a nap or anything like that, but I do feel that the forecast market, there might be a tiny bit of value if you do fancy Shishkin to win. So in the forecast market on the exchange, Keith, if you wouldn't mind, please, 4 to beat 2, Shishkin to beat an Ergamine. It's just under 13 to 8. 1.880 is to win the race on the exchange, Shishkin. We're getting just under 13 to 8 for him to beat an Ergamine. I think that's fair enough, and we'll have £50 on that, Keith. in the straight forecast market. So hopefully Shishkin can get the job done and beat an Ernest in the process. A lot of people will probably think First Flow is a player, given the front two might be maybe overhyped. I'm not sure. We'll know after the race. But I do think that Shishkin, 186, maybe that was a bit of a stretch. 185, 186 Shishkin. He's starting to straighten up a little bit, having been matched at 1.89. 246 in Ergamine, over £800,000 matched in the market. So it'll be interesting to see how close they get in the betting. And from here, there's another 10 minutes to the race. So I'd imagine there'll be plenty of punters only playing now.
Let's get some socials in then before we see how we think the exchange might go early doors. It's quite interesting in this race. Chris Timms comes back on. Welcome along, Chris. I'm firmly in the Shishkin camp. Yeah, absolutely. Cream to ride. Yellow corner then. Stephen Loftus comes on and says, not worried about First Flow. Not worried about Dave Bass going off way too quick with no intention of winning, but setting it up for Shishkin. It is the potential fly on the paper, isn't it? We'll get to the lads in a minute. Who else is there? Let's have a look. Stefano Cora. Have I got that right? Energamine. Easily. Okay, for Tony Bloom in the blue corner with Keith Melrose. And the Terminator comes back on and says, would love it. I would love it for Energamine. Wins, but Shishkin may have too much toe at the end. Great stuff. Great to have you out there. All you punters, this is the show for you. If you want to know where your dough went, you of course get the best post-race analysis in the business, and it's going to be raucous scenes during the race as well. Exchange after two fences. Level up?
No, because the second fence is that first one in the straight, isn't it?
How many fences when they level up? They're going to level up at some point on the exchange, aren't they?
I think they'll level up.
The great Michael Gove levelling up on the exchange.
I think they'll level up at the fifth.
Yeah, because they're going to go. Come on, where does the exchange go? Oh, isn't Ergamine looking good? This is what I want to be getting into. And Shishkin does have the tendency to hit a little flat spot.
It depends on when First Flow disappears, doesn't it? If First Flow's still there, then an Ergamine is always going to be a good price. But if an Ergamine suddenly surges ahead, gets his own way, he's going to go down, isn't he? I don't think it matters because I think Shishkin's going to have too much at the end.
George Murray in the chat says, I don't have enough milk bottles for Shishkin. This was probably the target. Well, you're right, George. I think he's a bit short, but maybe bigger than some people thought.
There will be some people who are trying to trade it on Betfair.
Does the loser go to the Ryanair? No. Both take each other on again. We want the narrative back of the champion chasers.
If you're an Ergamine, you lose. You're not going to go and take on Allaho.
But he is the horse that has the 2 mile 4 form, of course. He's a horse that stretches. They're both, well, certainly an Ergamine British pointer, of course. British owned, Irish trained. There's another story there.
Well, Tony Bloom knows where to send them, doesn't he?
Well, he does. He absolutely does.
He's slower than Shishkin, isn't he?
He's a slower horse. But no, tell you what.
Slower horse.
In what sense, though?
In the sense of bang, acceleration, Shishkin is
If you asked him to keep a constant pace, if he did a bleep test, I think he'd win.
If you said, right, we're going to have 5 furlongs up the gallop...
Yeah, he would not mind a bleep test.
I don't think he'd see which way Shishkin went.
If it's a 5 furlong gallop up the gallops, yes, Shishkin probably wins it. But if it's a bleep test,
that's what you get.
It's an argument that wins.
If it's a bleep test, boop. I used to hate bleep tests. It might not come as a surprise to you. It was a pain barrier, and I would have been a Shishkin, that's for sure. But look, Shishkin is a horse that, interestingly, again, reference Jerry McGrath, who again spends most of the time doing the work riding, the top work ride at Hendo's, and he said he's not like Sprinter and Altior. And interestingly, as Keels picked up on it when we were mid-show with him yesterday, he went, Jerry, you said Keels has got this thing that if they switched Shishkin to this year's Gold Cup, he would win. Okay, he just thinks he's that sort of class. He thinks he'll stay. What he saw, Kills is convinced about it. And interestingly, Jerry said he's the sort of horse that could win over 3 mile 2 for you. He didn't say 3 miles. So, of course, the Gold Cup. Is that somewhere in the back of their minds, or is Nicky just... He trains this speed into these horses. He gets these great 2-milers. The money's good there. Why move? Like, he didn't with Altior, really, did he?
Yeah, and, I mean, Shishkin showed at Kempton the sort of speed he has. As I said, that time when he looked like he was being niggled, what he was doing was he was running 3 wide, running a 12.5-second furlong. Now, that would be... You'd get moderate flat horses that don't run that sort of pace.
Well, that's interesting, because Hugh Masson comes back on and says, do you think Shishkin's more likely to be inconvenienced by a slow pace? Could it be a Mickey Mouse pace?
If they piddle about until 3 out, Shishkin will probably win. But I've backed an argument. I hope that doesn't happen. I think he's a horse... I think all the evidence is that he's a horse with a better finishing sting than an Ergamine. An Ergamine wins by going hard.
4-5, 5-4. You are in the blue corner. You think the wrong Vav?
I I was pricing it up. I'd have gone evens each of 2, or maybe 10 to 11.
5 to 6 the pair sort of thing.
10 to 11 Energumene and 11 to 10 Shishkin. I've got it very close, erring towards Energumene. A lot of the reason I'm really for him today is because I think that price is wrong.
Unbeaten, second season novices. Where do they rank in the sort of like Moscow World Chief type?
They're below them, aren't they, at the moment?
They don't have the chance to really match those figures. I mean, Energumene blasts off, but he went actually too hard last time and still did a mid-170s. And Shishkin, because he's got the finishing rattle, he's not the sort of horse that runs big figures in a way Sprinter was. This is why Sprinter was so much ahead of Altior. He was a better horse, obviously. But because he would cruise and break horses, whereas Altior sort of did what Shishkin does and pounces maybe 3 out and just extends. Whereas Energumene's the sort of horse that will run big figures when the things fall right for
But there could be a big figure on offer here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, if one of them beats the other easily...
First Flow's 20 lengths back. Who was the horse? Was it Senkos that was 4th in that famous Tingle Creek? With Moscow as Airtube and Moscow Flyer.
Yes. In the late Andy Stewart colours,
Yeah, Senkos was 20 lengths back in 4th and had run perfectly well. And he was a mid-160s horse, easy.
He set the bar, didn't he?
And he did. And First Flow's beaten 25 lengths having run perfectly well. We know we've seen something really special.
Yeah, don't rule out First Flow for the Ryanair potential as well. But as Kim Bailey says,
he's the one that
could potentially.
But what to remember about First Flow, this is his Ryanair. This is his championship.
The Ryanair is the one race. Take the fav out, and it's
very open, extremely open.
Yeah,
Shan Blue's going to be really interesting.
He's
going straight to it.
He is. Look, we'll get to all that. Ryan, let's come to you. How much liquidity are we looking at on the exchange? Who are they queuing up for? Are we seeing any bundles anywhere?
Yeah, over £1 million now. 1.1 million match on the win market alone on the exchange. 1.9 Shishkin. He was 1.92 a couple of minutes ago. He's in 1.9 now. 2.38 Energumene. They're getting a little bit closer in the market, but I'd imagine with 4 minutes to go, with the liquidity being so strong in the race, that they'll go off around the prices they are now. But Shishkin definitely a little bit uneasy. Energumene definitely much the stronger of the pair in the market.
I think he was always likely to drift a little bit because they defensively priced Shishkin, thinking he might be the one that definitely turned up and they didn't.
Yeah, that was it. On form, I don't know how you could have said it was 4 to 7, 7 to 4.
Yeah, exactly. They had to level up a little bit. There's the poll we've been running on YouTube for you out there. Shishkin, perhaps unsurprisingly, but 55%, maybe a little bit more than you might think. Energumene 33s, First Flow only 8, and some votes out there for a Mool of Gold. It would have to be a family business race, wouldn't it? For
Stephen Bradbury, wasn't it? That speed skater from Australia who crashed in the last bend.
That would have to be something like that, wouldn't it, for a Mool of Gold to win? But great to see him there.
They're out on the track now, Dave.
Yeah, how much did you get for finishing 4th here? That's a good question, isn't it?
10 grand or something,
Is it?
I don't know, I've had a guess. I'll tell you what it is right now.
And is this one of these races where we don't really want rags in the way?
Well,
do you know what I mean?
He doesn't get ridden like that. A Mool of Gold doesn't get ridden like that.
That's what I mean. This is one where we're quite... because we've got a front runner, we're perfectly happy for it to be.
Well, but First Flow, I mean, you feel you're doing him down, calling him a rag, but he is a rag in this race, and he's maybe going to get in the way.
I remember saying as novices last year when they're coming into the Arkle, this could be like Man of War Seabiscuit, couldn't it? And just have the 2 horses because we've got our front runner and we've got one that tracks. But I suppose then we don't want it to be total cat and mouse, do we? So
no, I don't think Paul Townend wants that.
Do you think Underso will be in his mind that he didn't go quick enough on him that time he got beaten by Deffy?
I hope so.
What you're hoping that this won't come off the bridle, aren't you? Do you think they can get him off the bridle? That's the question.
The model shouldn't be Underso. The model should be Surname. How Harry Cobden rode Surname when he won the 1965 chase and beat Altior.
Was the blueprint?
It was the blueprint. You get your fractions bang on. You're not right. You're not betting against First Flow. You are riding fractions to beat Shishkin. Please do that. Please don't, do the thing where you fill them up down the hill and whatever.
Well, it's the best rider in Ireland we're talking about here.
He's vastly. But as we said, he's only ridden 4 times at Ascot and only twice in this race. And one time he did the thing he shouldn't do today.
Yeah.
Shishkin looks ready to go here, Dave. Look, he's absolutely
full of himself.
Going.
Remind us what you said, but Nicky said afterwards, wasn't quite on his racing weight. He's back to it.
Yeah, he said he's lost 15 kilos since his first run at Kempton, which was obviously wildly impressive and an equal career best anyway on Racing Post rating.
There was a lot of vitriol towards Hendo, wasn't there, because he missed the Tingle Creek. But yeah, people do tend to forget that there is still a lot of options available. The championships are not.
But there's plenty before Christmas.
But I was watching with Matt Chapman on Sky, and he was saying, "Look, I've got the piece of paper if you want to see it. It goes to a board." I think Henderson because of Altior, Henderson got And a lot of big faces came out and started firing gun bullets at him. We had him on a feature show. You've probably well seen out there. And he said, "Those silly clowns will eat their hats." And this is
But what
This is why he's riding. This is why he's running the horse now. I reckon he's got a beer his bonnet about it. That's
Yeah,
part of
right.
why he's-
Yeah.
have a go at him. Make Henderson run his horses as much as he should.
Yeah.
I think he was scared to almost pull Shishkin out. I'm not sure. Like yesterday, he seemed really nervous. He was like, "Oh, I'm not even sure I can enjoy the race. I don't think me and Willie will enjoy
His
it."
reaction at Kempton when they won the race was one of the moments of the last. It was fantastic.
There's an
You
obsession.
can't act that.
There's an
He
obsession
was in
with being
bits.
unbeaten. Why?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you lose, if Shishkin loses and he finishes second and Merjamin wins, he loses very little in defeat, in my opinion.
How many times was Secretariat beat?
Exactly. Why do
We
you have
are
to be undefeated?
the 1-1-1-1-1 horse. Yeah, the big bucks world record.
Altior, obsessed with getting it, win and win and win. Now I know that's the aim, but
This is exciting, right? Stop,
Anyway.
drop what you're doing. Tell your mates if you haven't yet. Call your neighbours in. Whatever you're doing out there, this is what horse racing is all
This
about.
is a moment, isn't it? We're all a moment where you think, oh, I watched that with them.
And here I am. With the betting editor and the assistant editor and all the wonderful people out there. What a place to be.
they're
Would
lining
not
up
swap it.
alongside each other.
A little bit of a nibble here for first flow, is there, Ryan? I can see that on track.
Because of he's going to line up and go prominent.
Ryan was. I'll tell you what. Ryan was just. He was trading his positions there, wasn't he? Didn't
go,
see us
the
coming.
flag
All right,
is
come on
up.
in. Enjoy it out there. This is the Clash of the Titans we've been waiting for. A reminder in the yellow corner. Graeme Rodway, nap of the day. Dave Orton and Ryan McCue as well. Just the one. The betting editor himself, Chris Marker, and Nergamine in the blue corner for Keith. This is going to be a call. The flag is up and it's down and off we go and running.
First flow's in front.
And Dave Bass, absolute. Well, no, you just come in.
Flying.
This is absolutely flying.
He just
All
wants-
right,
he
here
wants
we
that
go.
lead. He doesn't want Bass
Up
to
to the
bother him.
first, over
jump
they
at the
go.
first.
Lovely jubbly. And Bassey is not having it at the moment. He's just settling him to ride his own race. Quite rightly so as well.
Townend just does not want Bass noising him up. That's why he rode him for 50 yards to get lead at the first.
12 months ago, you remember, Politolog, of course, and first flow, everyone thought Politolog was going to do it. Bassey went up his inside, got him at it on the far side, and we saw what happened.
What does
First Flow
Bass
loved
do
it.
from the fourth? This is what I want to see. Bass won't make a move here. They're
Keep
still
your eye
going
on the
uphill.
exchanges, lads. It's two
Level it
fences
Nergamine
and it's
gone
level, Ryan.
favourites.
Oh, it's
Nergamine
seconds.
gone favourite. Nergamine gone favourite. That didn't take long. Now he's drifted back out a little bit again. It's going to be fascinating in running all through the race. But Nergamine hit favouritism there early on.
I've never seen Ryan get his pecker up like that before. There you go. So
Here
it's
we
the
go.
second fence is levelled up. And he's all fine. The Moolah Gold as expected, just picking up the pieces
Getting his $8
out
grand.
the back.
Get his $8 for
First
fourth.
flow just not fast enough, or are
No, I
they
don't
just
think
doing a weird ride?
I think he's a bit keen, isn't he, as well? And Shishkin is not giving Energamine any peace whatsoever. He's right on his courses, Nico.
Nico should be letting David Bass out when they turn the corner here.
Okay, the crowd out there at Ascot, great to see, isn't it? Back 100%, 2022. What a year it could be. And Energamine going out onto the far side. All right, is this exactly what you were expecting, Keith?
Yeah, get him rolling now, though.
You said no.
I thought first flow would lead. I thought we'd have first
you
flow
worried?
and Nergamine bang against each other. They're not.
Watch Bass now. When does Bass pull him out?
Surely Bass doesn't just sit in behind these two and let them dictate
On
to
the
him.
far side. Energamine just economical there, I would say.
Yeah,
Shishkin
a bit
jumping
less,
best so
if
far for
anything.
me.
He does jump a
Two
little
now
bit.
for first and second.
Perhaps how it should be. First flow just didn't. Again, this is surprising, isn't it?
Oh.
People were worried about that as the cameras
Oh,
just
it's
have a bit of a wobble.
first flow's nemesis there. He just hit that one.
Okay, all right. So we're on the far side. We've
Is
got
David
plenty
Bass
to go.
hoping to pick up the pieces?
Well, let's have a look at the exchange.
Townend,
Look, Shishkin
Townend,
back
what are
into
you
4 to
doing?
5. Ryan, has come to you. They love it, don't they, when they go forward,
There we
these
go.
horses?
Ryan, you're way ahead.
Yeah, he was down on his nose a little bit there.
Oh.
1.93 Shishkin, 2.24 Nergamine. Not much change still in the market. First flow, the drifter. He looks to be getting a little bit back. Strange to what David Bass is letting the two of them go on in front. Maybe it might work out, but Shishkin remains favourite at 1.88 in running.
And of course, the most experienced amongst them is First Flow, of course, because this is second for season novice that we're talking about here, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. And he's won this race last year, and they've not even run on an open Grade 1 before. So is Bass going to set sail from Swinley Bottom?
He's sensing it. Look, this is Dave Bass again. It's like these attacking riders over the years. Your Tom Scoos, your APs.
This is stone wall for David Bass standards.
Can't really help
Here we
himself,
go.
can he? On the far side,
This
then, at
horse
the
is going
moment,
as fast as he
Energamine
can,
going
isn't
well.
he?
Did you think Energamine would be further forward than he
I
is at
think
the
so.
moment?
I don't think he's gone fast enough.
All right, what are they doing at the moment then on the far
good
side?
jumps.
Again,
Very good jumps.
Shishkin
Here goes
occasionally is
First
a little
Flow.
bit first flow. Is he just hit a flat spot there, Shishkin? Yeah,
gone
look at this. Look at the exchange.
He's trying
He's
to
gone as
come
fast as he can.
alongside him.
Look at this. Do you think he's going as fast as
Oh,
he
he's
can?
flown that one.
I'll tell you what, Shishkin's this is again, but we
Here
saw
we
this
go.
at Kempton, didn't we? Where are we?
Shishkin off
5
it.
out?
That's still not a fast furlong.
Now
It's
he's coming back, Shishkin. I'd be getting involved with Shishkin now.
I'll tell you what, it's the open ditch, and he's flown it in Ergumin. He must
I'll
be
tell you what,
favourite.
begin again. Shishkin
Must
now
be
first
favourite.
flow looks like he's broken a little bit. Nico's sensing
We're
it.
gonna
isn't
get
he?
the race,
The
lads.
two warriors. Okay,
We're
what
gonna
are we?
get the race.
Here we go. Come on, they're turning in.
on, Shishkin.
This is what we wanted to see. And in the
he's under
moment,
pressure.
Energumin going for it. Look at the exchange. He's gone
He's in
really
trouble.
short. They're coming back in. Shishkin's going to have to finish
Go,
on at the
Shishkin.
moment.
This is a toss-up.
Shishkin's looking more like the stayer in the pack.
This is
And
a
Energumin
toss-up.
not off the bridle. Here we go to 2 outs. They'll be loving this at
Go,
Close
Shishkin,
Sutton.
pick
What
up.
have we got? Shishkin coming
what
now.
is he
Can he
gonna
break
do?
him?
Shishkin.
Unbelievable. 2 of the best horses we've seen in the last couple of years. What have we got here? 2 out. And Energumin's got this,
good.
hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got him.
It looks like Energumin's got this. He's gone really low. Wow, what a performance. Absolutely
Shishkin.
amazing.
Hold on,
scenes.
wait a minute.
Shishkin's not totally done with. Coming to the last. It's a
Go.
long way home at Ascot. At the moment,
all on
the
the
exchange
jump.
is saying
This
Energumin's
isn't
got
a
it.
jump.
Energumin's
Blow it, Energumin.
Absolutely
This isn't-
slowly. Shishkin's
Come on,
got
go,
it.
Shishkin.
This is the win we
Oh, this is
wanted.
gonna be so close.
It looks like Energumin's going to
It's
do
so
it.
close.
Wow,
Shishkin.
wow, we. Team Blue, look at Shishkin. Over the top he comes. Amazing scenes.
Yes.
For the first time here
What a
this
champion.
afternoon at the Royal. I don't know what to say. That was an unbelievable finish. If you didn't like horse racing beforehand, what is wrong with you? Unbelievable scenes while we gather ourselves
What
somehow.
a race! What a race!
What a race. You've
That
been
was
proved
brilliant.
right.
A brilliant race.
I made the 4-timer.
2 great horses. Look at how fast first flow has been.
That was unbelievable. Ryan McCue, bring some order back. What happened on the exchange?
What a race that was. Shishkin down the outside. That finishing kick proved vital. And Energumin done nothing wrong. Had the rail to help up the straight. 1.13 was the in-run and low for Energumin. Jumped the last low and well. Landed running. But Shishkin, that extra 100 yards, last 100 yards I should say, like he done in the Supreme coming up the hill, he stays so well over 2 mile and broke the heart of Energumin late on. 8.0, 7-1 Shishkin, the in-run and high. And beats Energumin. What a cracking race. And all roads lead to March now. Hopefully we get another race like that. That was brilliant.
Ryan, thank you for that. I mean, this is what you get on this show. The market was going haywire. You're a little bit ahead of us in here. We're looking and thinking, well, Shishkin looks done. Could the race planners and the powers that be that write the narrative of these races, could they have asked for anything better there?
Oh, absolutely brilliant. A great race between 2 champions.
Name a better race.
These are 2 champion horses, and I can't wait for the rematch.
That's just the thing.
Wait till Cheltenham. This
They
is going
can't
to be
shirk
brilliant.
it now, can
Right,
they?
I couldn't have spoken a minute ago. I'd have been a bit choked. I was actually really emotional watching it.
Well, you
But
thought you had
can I
it,
say-
didn't you?
Can I
He's
say
flown
now?
the last Energumin.
Can I say now that I genuinely don't think. I think Townend rides that race again. I think he goes faster.
Oh, that's a bit harsh on him, isn't it?
It's
He's
the
led
finish- it's-
everywhere by
It's
the
the
line.
finishing kick that's done him.
I don't know. I think Shishkin has outstayed him.
That is 2 top horses.
That is 2 absolutely magnificent horses. The afterburner. Look at that. Neil Francis says, wow, Shishkin, there's the Betfair SP. Bigger than you'll get anywhere else. When he came up there over the last, Townsend's like, I've got him.
Bloody, they're miles ahead of first flow by the
they're
last.
miles clear.
I
The
think
thing
that
is, Bass will sit up after the last. But
what a brave performance by Shishkin. That is what people weren't totally sure he had in his locker. And let's hope, I mean, they haven't left it behind here, have they? I mean, this is a serious effort by both horses.
This is going to be the race of the season when they have the rematch at Cheltenham, because Energumin had the race won and Shishkin just come and stole it from him late. It'd be interesting to see the tactics at Cheltenham, could easily swing things around.
If you had to get a ticket now for the Cheltenham Festival, which day are you going to?
You're going Wednesday, aren't you?
You're there Wednesday, aren't you?
I can't wait.
You are there Wednesday. All right.
And not just these, there's some other really good horses in that champion chase.
We'll get some more socials. Marco T, for the first time in 30 years of betting, I got goosebumps. Speechless. Best race I've ever seen.
first time,
What?
I'm a miserable so-and-so and I've got goosebumps more than that.
I think you got a
must
little
be-
bit teary there, Keith.
I
We wear our heart on our
I
sleeve.
was emotional.
We give it the big one for this, didn't we, all week? And you cannot deny what we've just seen there is greatness, isn't it? And it's perfect. And it's why we love the sport. Neck and neck. We see it on this show. We've got regular viewers. We see horses that get up after the running and stuff. I genuinely thought he was beaten, Shishkin. I thought he was done.
Yeah, we saw the heart that we wanted to see from a real champion in Shishkin, and Energumin's lost absolutely nothing in defeat, has he? This is what I'm saying. There's no need to be obsessed with winning every race. Racing has won.
What price now, Ryan, will come to you in a sec, what price does Shishkin go now?
The champion
for the
chase.
champion chase.
What price was he before?
He was what, 4 to 5?
4 to 5. I wouldn't tighten him up much
No.
because what we've seen today is that those 2 horses are extremely closely matched.
Ryan, are we getting anything for the sports book?
old
I think
course
you
at
might tell
Cheltenham
us
might
some
suit
bombshell
him.
here.
Yeah, I've no say in this price that we cut him now, so don't shoot the messenger. But we're 1 to 2 from 11 to 10. Sounds a little bit short to me. All right?
1 to 2.
This is
Yeah.
when
As I
Constitution
said-
Hill won
as
the
I said-
Tolworth, we thought it was crazy, Ryan, but
I presume
that's
that's
madness.
What price in Ergum, Ryan?
Don't shoot the messenger. I'll get that out to you now in a sec, Keith. He's 11 to 4 on the exchange. And 11 or 10 to 11 on the exchange. Shishkin. It does sound very short to me. 1 to 2.
Is
As I
that
said,
because-
I'm only relaying the prices. I didn't quote that myself. It does sound short.
Are they scared that Emerging might now not run?
Or
is
defect.
That, is
That's
that
possible.
what? It's a
Or
defensive
defect.
price.
It's defensive. It's almost like an Ergemin's not turning up.
Is it like they're thinking maybe an Ergemin will wait either for a Fairy House or Punchestown, or maybe he'll go 2.5?
You will find out, of course, on the Racing Post
4.4,
Members Club
100 to 30.
digital edition tonight. All our top men are at the track, and we will get the lowdown from both camps. But listen, they're taking each other on. Think of the clashes you like. I mean, this is almost Fury Wilder, isn't it? We're going to have 3 bouts, aren't
I'm
we?
going to have to shake hands with you, Rod, dear. That was, tell you what, that was some old clash there. And
That was some old clash between the betting editor and the assistant. You think Steptoe and Son, don't you? You think well, whoever they
I still
are.
think he might win the rematch, you know. I think the old course at Cheltenham will suit him better.
But Shishkin has the tick. Look, we're normally off air by now. So it just shows you what we could go on and on and on about this. We'll be digressing about it in the week. Check all your feature shows, of course, here at the Racing Post. We'll be doing it all. The podcast will be out there. The debate will rage. Keith, you still think you would have, if you were Paul Town, and you would be saying, beauty, son, but next time can we go a little bit quicker?
Look, it's not to say that was a bad ride from Townend. I just think he could have gone I think, it's a 6, 7 out of 10 ride rather than...
Do you think he was worried about first flow at any stage? Do you think they've looked at last year? Do you think
he's
where is Bass?
Do you think he's thought Bass is going as fast as he can? I must be going pretty quick here.
Well, there's possibly. I mean, first flow has pretty much run his race and a bit keen early, maybe.
Yeah,
but-
we saw the head on. I was looking for the head on, and he jumps the last about 7 lengths clear of Amula Gold, which he should, and he's only ridden him out hands and heels to the line. I think it's about 20 lengths back to him.
What sort of marks are we going to be giving? Let's end on that. 172, 171. The handicapper's got it absolutely bang, hasn't
Yeah, brilliant. And that's the thing, those horses we didn't know before, we were making up a lot of stuff because collateral form wasn't great with these horses, but because, and they've met, and it's been that sort of race.
Are we looking at 180 RPRs?
we? I think
we
we've
are.
got it.
I know what's going to happen here, I think. I think what will happen is they'll pull down Chacun Poursois, who was 179. They'll pull him down and they'll get Shishkin top for the champion chase.
Yeah, well, 1 to
177,
2 on the
178?
sportsbook. Yeah, do you think they might save the one? They're going to save the 180 for the festival.
Maybe it'll depend on the time. I reckon it'll look.
Who got the 180? It was Aplutard at Betfair, wasn't
He
it?
did, yeah, he did.
All right,
He's
so it doesn't
180.
have to just happen there. All right, this is it. This is Racing Post Live. We build it. It was huge. Ryan McCue, wonderful to have you on. You'll be back before the festival, my man.
Yeah, I'm sure I will, Dave. That's some race to finish on. We watched a few different races today, but that was a brilliant renewal of the Clarence House, and I'm just hoping they meet again at Cheltenham.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant, Ryan. Great work today. G, Keith, we're going to go and have a well-deserved oil. Now, the guys in the gallery as well, Kieran, Will and Dan, sterling work. You out there as well. It's been fantastic. You can probably tell we're feeling rather happy with ourselves because this is why we love it. Jack Reeve, of course, doing the socials as well, as much as it pains me. He's been trolling me throughout the afternoon. And how do we finish on that? I don't know.
Well done to Henderson and Mullins for both running and having both horses in top form.
This is what happens when you run the damn things. Get it done.
Proper
What a race.
All right, there's the blueprint. Don't make it a handicap. Who knew? This has been Racing Post Live. I've been Dave Orton. What a thrill it's been. We'll see you next week. Trials Day. Actual decent weather we're expecting, at Cheltenham.